day I forget will be appreciated.
Well, we are live. Hello, everyone. um,
Wow.
yeah, sorry. These impromptu chat streams are very laid back. They're very underproduced, is probably what some critics would say. But we have a great time. We're down Centuria this week, and with the fun happenings going on in Argynvost Holt, next time we get back into the Heroes of the Mist slash Freedom League Dark in the Multiverse of the Master Mage, I figure we should all probably be together for that. Just because I've got some very fun and exciting plans for Calvin and Kat and everybody else. Um, But since we're not doing Freedom League Dark in the Multiverse and the Master Mage, we figured we would jump on and chat a little bit about how our preparation for Origins is going. Origins Game Fair is the big convention here in Columbus that happens every year. It's a massive tabletop gaming convention. They've got minis, they've got cosplay, they've got entertainers, they've got a massive dealer hall. But our big thing is the role playing games. The three of us and many other members of the Untold Stories Project crew are going to be running events. Lots of events. We have Andy was the quarterback for 40 events. Is that how many matinees doing?
31, I think.
31. So Andy was in charge of organizing all of that for the amazing folks over at Matinee Adventures. If you are looking for great games of all descriptions, please look them up in the catalog. I know Andy has a bunch of good stuff that we shouted out on the Untold Stories Project website. Um, I will also be running a game at Matinee Adventures because it is the 15th anniversary of that prestigious organization that helped me get my start as a convention game master, and are still very much my extended family. I love Matinee. I love going to Matinee Con and just getting to play with all kinds of nerds with similar hobbies and interests and similar ideas about role playing games. I personally will be running 8 events at Origins. TRDM, CRDM.
9, including the
I think it's 8
crossover.
including the crossover event.
Hmm.
I think
Quite
it's
several and a whole lot.
yes, I think it's 8 with the crossover, and I think it is 8 including the Matinee Adventures one. I think I had to double check. I'm running some adventures I ran in last year's con season. I'm running some callbacks to some adventures that I've had a great time with. And there are a bunch of Titan City events that I'm not running. So I'm very tense about that, but excited to see how people feel with it in the wild when I'm not around. Deuce pioneered that last year at Origins when he ran an amazing Titan City event, and I'm glad that there are other GMs taking up the mantle of that. Because Titan City's coming in a big way, I will say unofficially. If you don't know yet, the first official Titan City adventure is out over at Green Ronin. You can find the Lost Library in the Astonishing Adventures line, and that is set in my world. And features a really pissed off mummy who hates Egypt. So go check it out. It's great. And baboons. Um, yeah, Andy and Deuce, what are some of your thoughts about the convention, how your prep's going?
Origins is always a very good time once we get to it.
Ain't that the fucking truth?
Yes. There's always a little bit of behind the scenes drama that happens just in getting things together, but the convention itself is a wonderful time where we as GMs get to put out the events that we kind of wish that we would get to play. I think is kind of how I always saw it. Is like I would absolutely play the ever loving heck out of any of the games that I put out there for GM for the players to come and enjoy. And I think that's part of the fun is being able to put a story out there and see people come and they're like, yes, I came to you because you were running this and I've never seen this run, or I want to play in a story like this because it just sounded so cool, which is part and parcel with the whole thing of like how do you sell an Origins game when you have a limited description for the players to actually read, and the creativity that has to come in doing that to get that out there. well in advance of probably the actual writing for the adventure being done. It's like, I have an idea. Great. I have to have a way to sell that idea before I even have the rest of it finished.
Yeah.
So,
I really like the synopsis limitation though. I was talking about this on Joy of Game Mastering yesterday. That feels like forever ago. um, sorry everybody, I'm a little sleep deprived. But that's partly for dumb reasons, partly for work reasons. I mean, it's all work reasons. Some of them are just dumb work reasons. Um, but yeah, that's sort of where a lot of my adventures start is in that synopsis phase where I pick like what I want, what genre or what team I want to cover, and then coming up with a synopsis that is under that 300 character limit. Really, it gives me somewhere to focus my creativity, but limits it down from anything is possible into this is the kind of story I want to tell.
yeah. It's just it's always hard to figure out. It's like I have 300 words. I could say so much if I had more, and condensing it, or even like sometimes it's not even about going over the 300 words.
Mm-hmm.
It's choosing the words so that you don't go over 300 characters. Because
Yeah,
it's not a word count. It's a character count.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's even
So
the harder bit about it. So
basically, 3 to 4 sentences, depending on how verbose you might be.
yeah,
And I think it's a great limitation. I really, it's hard boiling the all of this grand concept that you want to build into your adventure into that little spot. But I find that the limitation helps with figuring out what's really the meat of what we're talking about. But it's definitely a skill. I mean, I've spent most of my career getting paid by the word, so having to cut things all the time is so hard. What are you running, Andy?
so my games for this Origins, I am starting off with a Castlevania game called Divergence of Fate, where I am showcasing the protagonists from the Game Boy and DS Metroidvanias that are not Belmonts. I have a Rocketeer Core game that follows up with the Rocketeer Core that I've been running games for the last, I think, 3, maybe 4 years with. I think 3, because I have 3 scenarios, so I think it's 3 years. So that's kind of a pulp 1940s World War II style of game where if you show up, you get to punch Nazis. So always fun there. I have a Things from the Flood game, which I can't really talk about too much because it gets into spoiler territory, but it is very much the, hey, remember the 90s and how bad they were? Or how good they were? Well, some stuff happens behind the scenes that doesn't make it so great for our player characters. So, and then Friday evening, I am part of a 3-table crossover where we are running a Power Rangers, Transformers, and GI Joe multi-table event for the Friday evening.
That's awesome. How are you finding that multi-table event? How's the prep going for that? I know you've had some behind the production stuff that's sort of
We
made
have
that a
been,
thing.
yeah, we've been doing it for almost a year. I mean, kind of feels like it. We started prepping the idea back in September last year, really started to catch a head towards it um towards January. So we've been working on it a lot for the past, for a good amount of time. And I think we're pretty well set. I mean, we know what our audience is coming for, right? You're coming to play Transformers, GI Joes, or Power Rangers and kick the bad guys' butt. So while I will say that we probably did at the beginning, we started to over prep and over analyze things, and then kind of said, you know what, we don't have to go so in depth on this to get it ready to go. We
Mm-hmm.
just kind of need to have have our lanes, get our lines written, and when they deviate, know how to ride with them because no plan survives first contact with the player character group. So
Nope. And honestly, I feel like this kind of game, not the less prepared you are, the easier it's going to be to run. But the
The
more
less expectations you
Yeah.
have.
yeah, not coming in with too many expectations, I think helps with the
Yeah.
flexibility that's needed for that kind of story.
I will say it has been a lot of fun trying to work in and prep things out. I had the player characters have been done for a little bit, but then there was the how are we making the character sheets look, you know?
Hmm.
Unfortunately, the official character sheets for Power Rangers, GI Joe, and Transformers from Renegade, while much like any uh, character sheet provided to you by the people that created the game, are great and do a decent job of putting information at your fingertips. They don't do the greatest when you know that you're going to have players that are not familiar with your rule set and you
Yeah.
want them to basically be like, I want a one page, maybe front and back, but I want a one page that will let everybody kind of know how they're going to how they can best play this character,
Hmm.
right? And so we
Instead
had
of the
to,
ancient tablets of divine power.
yes. So we did some crowdsourcing from some of our friends to say, hey, you've done character sheets like this in the past, How can, what did you have a template for it and whatnot? So we've taken that, put that together so that we can have our own thing. We'll also have a handout for like, hey, these are the rules. This is everything else that we want to be taught that these are the other things that you should know. But like not exactly how to play your characters, but what your character does well will
Hmm.
already be on the sheet and explained to you as in good terms.
Yeah, just knowing what
As-
dice to pick up and
Yeah.
what you're hoping for when you roll them, I think is
Yes.
sometimes not knowing that information can make it sort of anticlimactic even when you do really cool things. You're like, oh, I meant to do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about fifth edition and you think about feats, right?
Hmm.
If all you have is a section that tells you what the feat is that you took, you have no idea what it does. You have
Yep.
to go consult something else. I mean, the same thing with any of these things because a lot of these classes in the Essence 20 system have special abilities.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they're not intuitive as to like what that special ability does. So you want to have the flavor text that goes along with it, or at least a summarized version of the flavor text that goes along with it so that you can tell the players what it is they're going to be doing and how that power is used.
Yeah, some of them have wild names too that just like I'm like I don't. That's a cool name. I have no idea what it does.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a little bit of that too.
Also, hi
So,
Warden, good to see you. Thanks for hanging out. And Warden Maximus is going to be running games at NEA Game Fest in Northern Arkansas in mid-July. So, Warden, we're really bummed that you're not going to be here for Origins, but I know that it's a long way, and I'm glad that you got to come out and hang out with us for our first big Origins. And I think it's only up from here. I think we're going to keep doing bigger and bigger. Next year, let me know if you want to run events. And I mean, I'm comfortable putting you on the schedule as one of our GMs. I've seen you do lots of cool stuff with M&M, so let me know. I can't get you a hotel, but I can help you get a badge. Or I can
yes.
help you get a badge. I have nothing to do with it. I just put the things in.
So I spent a little bit of time this week kind of finalizing the extras that are outside the characters that the players are going to have access to, and kind of made the executive decision of like, yes, this is what's here, and then the players that stay, because we're going to be splitting the players up amongst the three tables. Like this is what the characters will get to choose one of two to stay at. The players that end up at my table end up with one of two choices for the second part of the game.
I get how the Power Rangers can scale up to Transformers. What do the Joes do when it's giant robot time?
Well, so technically the Transformers are no bigger than they're bigger than
A
yes,
semi
but they're
truck?
not. Yeah, but when they transform and they're actually their robot forms, they're not, they're not more than one size category above things. Actually, technically, summoning the Zords means the Zords tower above the Transformers.
Maybe I'm just not.
You're not thinking about it from the standpoint of like, if you go back and watch the cartoon of Transformers, even if you go back and watch the movies for the Transformers. They were not skyscraper level sized characters outside of Unicron.
Yeah,
They
More
were
the movie, less Michael Bay.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
Michael Bay's sort of my touchstone to the Transformers outside of some of the work I did for the comics, or not for Renegade regarding the comic stuff. So I did some research into that, but
yeah, but the Transformers were never giant robot size. They were never Pacific Rim size. They were always, yes, they're taller than humans. Yes, they're bigger than, they're putting into D&D terms, they're large creatures, not huge creatures.
yeah, I guess Bumblebee is the size of Herbie the Love Bug.
Yeah, it depends, and it depends. Like
if he's hanging out with Chloe Grace Moretz,
or if you're RC and you transform into a motorcycle, you're a lot smaller than,
Yeah, Ghost Hunter Guns.
Optimus. Yes.
Or those little pissed off tape cassette guys.
Nah,
He's back on my shelf.
We won't talk about the Michael Bay version as characters. I thought that it was they weren't bad movies. It's just, some of those things, it's like, if you grew up with things and you wanted that to be what you were getting and you didn't get that at all, you were a little disappointed.
I can see that. I can see that definitely being the case.
But
so I guess they're not much bigger than the Joes, but I still feel like there's a power differential there. I don't know.
Not really, because you can give the Joes vehicles so that they can do things, and with the array of vehicles that the Joes have, it's kind of like, yep, I can drive an Arctic snowmobile that has a set of missiles associated with it if I'm going into the Arctic, or I can drive a Humvee with 2 M60 cannons on the side.
If your dad was rich, you could have the aircraft carrier.
A lot harder to take that into battle. You could have a battle around it, but a lot harder to take that into battle.
So how are the parties splitting? Are they going to move from GM to GM all together, or are you going to have Joes mixed with Transformers and mixed with Rangers?
2 and 2 at every table.
That's cool.
Yep. We're going to let the players decide who wants to go where, but it has to be 2 and 2.
I guess that's the solution for the Transformers problem, is just turn them into cars for the Joes.
Yeah, you can. But again, the way the system is built for the rules, none of them do anything differently than any of the others. Like, yes, they're a little, yes, they can, like, the Transformers can turn into cars and do other things with that, but it's no more powerful than the Joes getting access to a vehicle. So I would say probably the Power Rangers are the ones that upscale in power, because when you summon a Zord, that's more powerful than your base character, but it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's a big ass robot.
Yeah, it's a giant robot. So you have but you can have the Power Rangers summon vehicles that are just motorcycles or cars or things like that aren't the Zords. So if you needed them, I'm not statting them up. We're not working from the game's perspective. If we needed them, we would.
We'll just hand wave that you can have a motorcycle. It's fine.
Yeah, we don't. I'm not too worried about that. So we have one more planning prep session before we get going, but we are, we're working on some dialogue for the middle of the game, so that all 3 GMs have some talking points to give to the player characters as respective leaders of the teams. And then we'll go from there.
Oh man, is Zordon going to hang out with Optimus?
Optimus is a player character, so actually cool. Zordon gets to hang out with Alpha Trion.
Nice.
And General Hawk.
I'm not used to Optimus being a player character choice. That's what's up.
Yeah.
I would play Optimus, but I don't have that voice.
I think the way the characters are set up is I currently have 6 Rangers, because that's your normal Ranger team once you get beyond the 6th Ranger getting involved. We have 7 character options for the G.I. Joes, and I think, or is it might be 8 character options for the G.I. Joes and 7 for the Transformers, or the other way around. But, but the idea is to still only seat 6 players at a table, because that will make life
easy. Actually, I learned to hack. I started it last year, but I've started only having 5 tickets for my games. So if I have an extra player, it's only 6, and I'm not super inconveniencing people who don't want to go above 6.
You mean when you run a 12-person game? Or
Look,
8-person game that becomes a 12-person game?
Look, Sometimes that's my fault. Sometimes Origins.
I mean,
My
it's still
famous
Origin-
my
it's
famous
still
12
Origin's
person
fault.
game is Origins fucking me. Because they double booked me and they sold legitimate tickets to everybody who showed up to that event. And they moved us out in the hallway and they're like, "Good luck."
Good luck, have fun.
That's actually, I'm running the sequel to that game at Origins this year. That's my matinee adventure, is the advanced Fire Wizards and Forgotten Lairs instead of just Fire Wizards and Forgotten Lairs, because we're second edition now. It's
10 seats
AFL.
sold, open to 12.
No. I put it out for 5, and I still have a spot open there, so I hope people come out for that, because that game's a ton of fun. It's the Justice League gets roped into playing D&D with Mixer Mystics get Pitlick. So
So that's what's on my GM plate for Origins, and just got less than 4 weeks to get everything finalized, and shouldn't have any problem doing so at this point.
why did you remind me about that?
Because that's what this session is for, Alex.
Because, oh Lord, they're coming. That's why.
So
Oh.
Deuce.
Oh, man.
It's your
Hey,
turn.
Calvin. We were wondering if you were going to jump on with us, Calvin, so we could answer any questions you have about what the con experience is like.
Yes, because Calvin is coming.
Calvin is coming.
He's leaving the Fortress of Solitude in Toronto to come to Ohio.
He's traveling down from the great frozen north.
So,
He comes from the land of the ice and snow.
and the only guy I know who had the most polite drug deal ever in history.
Oh my god.
So yeah, Origins. To let you in on a little family secret, I'm a moron because I am currently in the process of putting together 3 mega events, one for Origins, one for Gen Con, and one for our local CharCon. So yeah, that's fun. But it is what it is.
It's very nice meeting somebody who is screwing themselves more than me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to tell a family secret, it was Gen Con a couple of years ago where Alex joined us at our mega event there, which is it's a Masterminds game run with
That was such a fun
PvP
game.
events.
That was I was Ultraman and I cucked myself to death. It was great.
They're always great. It's a little different because that one is very much group of players versus group of players.
Mhm.
It will pit some of the Marvel heroes versus DC heroes, or X-Men and Marvel and DC, and just different groups depending on how I'm going to do it. But anyway,
Yeah, that version of the mega event almost feels like a war game with some role playing elements in it,
it can.
which
And it's-
which is fun. I mean, and I like that one of the things you guys do really well is divide up players by what they want from the session, from that scenario. You tend to there's the first round where everybody's sort of feeling each other out and they're on their assigned teams, and then you shuffle everybody and you sort of put the people who are just here to have a fight and eat pretzels, they're over here having a fight and eating pretzels, and they love it. Give them the crayons, whatever they want.
Oh yeah.
And
And
then
you get some great things like that because you get the role players and the people who are like, I'm playing a hero. My goals conflict with you because we will 100% put them diametrically opposed.
Mhm.
You need to get this to save your world. We need to get this to save our world. Well, there's only one of this, so who's getting it? Some people will talk it out, which is great. It's like, cool, you guys want to chew the scene for 2 hours and talk this through? Great. And like I said, then the other's like, well, if you're unconscious, you can't have it. And let them beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah.
Um,
This is
It
going
is
on
a-
a lot of people's performance reviews if you were there for last year's event.
Yeah.
Snart
It's-
was there. He had plans, he had critiques, he had a rubric. It was great.
it is beautiful chaos.
And a chart. Cold is the natural enemy of fast.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember some of the other ones.
We learned a lot of polar opposites that day.
There was something for ooze, right? What was that?
Was it Boomerang was a natural enemy of goo?
I think Boomerang was the natural enemy of goo. I think that was something we determined.
for no good reason.
Because I had to fight. We had to fight. We had to fight fucking Venom or
I know
Carnage. It was.
Tar Man, wasn't it, or something?
It was somebody
Uh,
gooey. It was some
yeah,
symbiote, I think.
but
Because it was one of
yeah,
the spider foes. I think it was Venom. Or
it might have been.
no, it
Yeah,
was
it might
no,
have
it was Carnage. Carnage was there and he was trying to eat us. That's what it was. And I was like,
been.
please don't eat us, Carnage.
He shows up and eats a lot of people.
And then we tried to have a polite conversation with Mysterio when the like leaders of the groups got stuck together, and freaking Boomerang ruined it for everybody.
Yeah, it gives you some great moments. Occasionally, it gives you some rough moments to see because one other thing you tend to get running some of those canon heroes is you'll get people who they've got that everyone does. Well, every comic book fan has that hero that's near and dear to their heart.
Oh yeah.
And when you're doing a PvP game like that, there's the chance you might die. Like it's like you said, it's kind of the war gamers thing. You may not live through this.
Yeah.
And someone was playing Pot Pete going up against or Pot Pete, who was teamed up with Deathstroke, going against their team. Pot Pete rolled like a champ. The dice were in his favor, so he was gluing people down, and Deathstroke was just walking around. One person was playing The Question, who the guy playing him loved him. It was his heart and soul. I've read every comic book,
Was that Hatter?
got the tattoo. It was a different one.
Oh okay.
Um, and yeah, they glued him down. Deathstroke went, well, the fight's over. He's the only one alive. He was incapacitated, so went, I stab him in the heart. He can't resist. Went, okay, well, you're dead. And you just hear the life leave this guy's soul as his favorite hero is just stabbed on the ground. I'm like, it happens. It's something that comes up. So you've
That's
got
not
that
even the
weird
most
with a lot.
cutthroat event you guys run at Gen Con though. Fucking they run Gen Con Survivor, and it's a whole day event that is Survivor, the TV show. There's alliances, there's tribal councils, there's challenge. It's so I've seen the end of it a couple of times, and I think it's so cool. I have no interest in participating, but I think it is the coolest thing ever.
The thing a lot of we get for that is you come into it thinking, oh, I'm at a con, it's going to be like this little board game, or we're going to sit at a table and role play it.
No.
Then they show up and like, oh, this is like 10 hours and holy crap, like it is full on, here's your torch, with a little electric light, but like full, here's your torch, here's your buff. We're going to do physical challenges to see who gets on what team, and you got to live through this. And people get into it. It's a thing.
Yeah, it's cool. It's real. I caught the end of last year's, like, and I wasn't even there all day, and there was people. I'm rooting for you. Win, go all the way. Be the ultimate survivor.
There's a Facebook group, Survivor Gen Con, that they've got set up where we full on record it. I do cameraman for that one because God bless it. It's so much work that goes into that, and I'm happy I got off easy to go. I just record stuff, right? Yeah, cool. Uh, but you show up, you get a pre-taping interview, a one-on-one. Where are you from? Are you a fan? All of this. We track you through the event, interviews through it, record the events, and then the end, you see people actually winning. So yeah, if you're curious to see how intense it really gets, look at Survivor Gen Con on Facebook, and
Yeah, if I wasn't there
it's a
for
thing.
work, I might participate in that. But it's all day. Like it's a commitment. It's like
I think it starts around 11 and goes to usually about 6 or 7.
mhm.
We never finish on time.
No.
I apologize to the head coordinator, Jim, but we'll plan to end at 6. We'll end at 8. We have a guy who is almost dedicated to keeping him on time. Still doesn't work. It's like if I
Hey
would have
Andy,
just
I need
followed
one
you
of
around,
those.
Alex. Yeah. Like I said, I could follow you around, Alex. Go, you need to get this done by then. And you'd be like, okay, 2 hours after that, you'll get it done.
Andy
But
has
yeah,
enough trouble in his life. He does not need to be responsible for my punctuality.
No, it is not
uh,
something that is easy enough to even attempt to make happen.
I'll add as far as a lot of the prep goes. Um, this is not me sucking up. This is me offering genuine compliments. I get to work alongside of very creative, inventive, and passionate people, and then including both of you and some of our other GMs who aren't here, Aaron as well, especially Calvin, if you're still hanging around the audience, um, all the GMs there, they are, and you all are insanely passionate about the events you're running, and that shows through a lot. Um, and I think for me too, something that catches me up is I want to tell this beautiful, complex story, and then I realize I got 4 hours to get people through it. So as much as I want to tell, I'm like,
I
but
don't
I
know
need
what
to,
you're talking about.
yeah. But I'm like, I gotta not dummy it down. That's not exactly the right word, but I gotta simplify a little bit to tell a nice, concise story.
Yeah.
Um,
I really think that that is one of the hardest skills to develop when you go from running like an ongoing game at home into running convention games,
Cough,
yes,
cough, cough.
because they have to be done. They have to.
yeah,
I've had some instances where they've run over because I can't help myself. And I always ask, if you guys have something to go and do right after this, please go ahead. We can yada yada the last part of this, and I'll get you out of here on time. But usually when it happens, they look at me and they're like, "You better not. You better just give us another hour." Which is
but
that's always really flattering. I love that
but
feeling.
you're right. There's those times where you get someone who goes, "Hey, I've got a game right after this.
Yeah,
If we're done at 1. I need to leave at like 1:05."
yeah,
And you want to respect that, but at the same token, like I appreciate and absolutely adore. It's like I want to give you the best experience. And the end of it, yeah, there are those people like, no, no, let's keep going. Like, let's go a little bit more. Um,
yeah. And
but you,
I think it's
yep,
just
Chuck.
it's important to remember that this is people's vacations.
Yep.
Like a lot of us are there for work per se. Like we're there because we're volunteering to run games and we have these stories we want to tell and we want to be part of the entertainment of the event. But some people are just there, and some people when they're on vacation they have an itinerary down to the minute. Sometimes they're like, I'm gonna do one thing today, and the rest of it is fine.
Miss, she's not in the chat, but Miss Violent Violet. I mean, structured to a fault. The
Mm-hmm.
girl has her minutes planned out that way. Um, but yeah, I think it's one part of when we've done some of our discussions offline for those who
Mm-hmm.
don't get to see them. And a lot of my, hey, here's my outline for the event or outline for the event. I have a section that is, here's the plan, here's where I can cut and or add time.
Mm-hmm.
So if I've got the group that is barreling through something, here I can pad. Or if
Mm-hmm.
I've got the one like, well, I've got a half an hour left and we haven't got through this, here's how I can condense this down. So it still tells the story I want to tell, but I've got that leeway in the middle to adjust on the fly.
Yeah, I call that technique the Russian nesting doll ending technique.
Also true. There's
Where
several ways to do it.
like
Yeah.
here's the ending, and if that's all we have time for, that's the ending. But if we have more time than I thought, here's the ending, or here's the ending, or we'd have way less time than I thought, and the ending's actually none of these endings.
Mhm.
Um,
And
Calvin is in the waiting room.
yeah, come on in.
We're gonna bring him in here and bully him, and then answer all his questions.
Deuce is gonna finish his set first.
Yes,
Then
I'll-
we're gonna ask and we're gonna answer Calvin's questions.
yes,
At some point, just say, "All right, we're good," and I'll stop because I can jabber on for way too long.
yeah. No, I mean, we're chatting about. We're excited. I'm excited about this. It's my favorite time of year.
Mhm.
Wiki, if you want to jump in with us, you can, but there's no pressure either way.
I think one other thing I really like, and I think is interesting about con season, actually, this goes somewhat to Andy's point. Yes, I agree with you. GMs run the games they wish they could play in. 100% on board with that. Um, but something else I think is really interesting is when people make those suggestions, like Castlevania for one especially. The Rocketeer was another one that you've run. Titan City. I love the noir aspect with a bit of magic thrown in. I think you find some of those people who are like that share that same interest that you have, and you may not have even realized because so many times people, and you especially, will suggest something that I will or other people go, that sounds like the best thing ever. Oh my word. And you didn't realize you've got people that are not just friends, but have that same passion that you
Mm-hmm.
do for the project that you're like, oh, I did not realize this was there. Okay, great.
That's one of the things I really like about our holiday one shot season too. And what I really like about our network is that we are all GMs who have all these great ideas for games, and we have these interests in these niches that we want to share with everybody else. Andy always runs really interesting games.
Absolutely.
I try. It's not always easy.
Deuce, do you have anything else you want to add before we
Now let's see.
dive in
Oh,
on Calvin?
so I guess the other thing, just to say it, if for those watching at home playing on that, um, for Origins, yep, I'll be a fun section of the mega event, so helping with that. Um, I'll be running the same or a Deadlands game twice. I've always got the hope that if I run the same game more than once, if the first time slot you find it, you can't get in, there's another one, so you've got two chances. So I have a Deadlands game running twice, which is a continuation from last year, and the second Titan City game I've written for the setting, which is also is not it is not a continuation from last year, but it's using the same street level kind of gumshoe characters that we used last year. So yeah, I think there'll be a lot of fun. I like that kind of dark and gritty feel to it versus some of the extra heroic characters we have in our other games.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so yeah, and I am in the same vein as Alex. I usually have an extra seat or two that I do not sell a ticket to. So if one of the fans shows up and goes, "Yeah, I couldn't get a ticket," I got a spot. Just sit tight. So I like bringing a little bit of extra because I write the games for the people we've got there, and as long as the story gets told, it's great. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's my rambling for a bit.
I will add one note about that. If you do show up to get one of the extra tickets to my events, I have an upcharge now. So if you show up, make sure you let the other people know that you're paying, even if you're not paying.
Wow.
Because I don't want to get yelled at by people who paid. But I'm
Said the
happy
out
to
loud
cover
part.
for you if you want. If you just want to show up and have a good time, but make it look like you're going to pay me at least, or mention, I'll get you after this, or I got your Venmo, or something like that. Just
You said the quiet part out loud.
yeah,
Yes. Stop while you're ahead. Which you're
because
not. You're
I
letting Tug your hole.
that was one of the most awkward parts about doing the upcharge for the first time last year was. So I do like to bring people in, but there were some people who were not happy that they paid and other people didn't. So
Oh, actually, one other thing for the one's viewing. It's just a random note. We as the GMs love feedback, good or bad, because us knowing where we're doing well helps us to kind of focus on that and know we've got that skill set ready. And if there's something to be done better, let us know. Whether it's, hey, hanging around after the table talk is always, for me, is always loved. Uh, our emails on the events, shoot us an email after the fact, hop on, write whatever it may be. But I always love the feedback. Usually it's always good. And I assume a lot of that is because no one wants to be the person to look at someone who just spent all their time to get a game ready for you to go, yeah, that was nice. I'm like, oh, I know what that nice means. Uh,
thank you for
yeah, so,
reminding me. Somebody sent me a message about one of my games at Origins. I need to email them back.
but yeah, I like that because I think it genuinely helps. And again, people like myself and these highly creative people I get to spend time in game with and work alongside appreciate it as well. So it's always constructive. So feel free, like I said, every time we sign off and leave a comment, tell us what you like, what you didn't like, what you would do better. I genuinely mean it. I think it's a good thing because that will help us make the games even better. So the next time you play in them, we can knock your socks off even more.
Yeah, and I speak Not for everyone, but I will say that I am relatively sure all of our GMs are very happy to receive feedback, and as long as it is offered in a constructive manner and is, with a friendly spirit, we're happy. We love it. We love hearing it.
If you're willing to take time out of your day to tell us what you think, it is appreciated in the spirit
Mhm.
that you're willing to give up your time to talk to us. It's a good thing.
Yeah, we're professionals. We I say that with a
50-50.
yeah, but we have a good time, and we want to be better. We always want our games to be better. We want you to have a good time. All the stuff.
And I mean, really, I think the biggest compliment we get as GMs is the stories people still tell years later.
Hmm.
Like as Alex earlier mentioned, Ultraman, Captain Cold. Uh, may sound bad, but don't chuck babies out of towers.
Oh
These
my
are all inside
god.
jokes.
Oh my god.
The things
Uh,
that you remember from a game you've played at a convention for years
mhm.
That
afterwards.
moron. Oh my god.
Starry, the Star Labs cat.
I love him. All right, that made it better.
There you go. But yeah, it's a huge compliment because that means you remember something. I've been lucky enough. I've had a gentleman I played in a couple games with at Gen Con, and I hadn't seen him for like 3 years. It's a guy you see maybe once a year at a convention. I gamed with him 2 years in a row, and then hadn't seen him for 3 years. And then him and his buddy were walking along. They stopped, see me, and go, "It's you." And I'm like, "Hey guys, good to see you." And they telling you again about the game and how much they loved it, and it's nice to see like you had that much of an impact. People go, "I know this guy. Hey, let me tell. This is the guy." I'm like, "Okay."
It's you. Maybe. Who do you think I am?
It depends on what's about to happen.
Y'all have
Right.
heard my jokes. It's definitely a maybe. I'm like, was it good or
Are you mad?
yeah? Oh, you had a great time. Thank God. Okay, yeah, good to see you again.
Right. Well, Calvin's here.
Calvin is here. Calvin, as I understand it, this is going to be your first big gaming convention, right?
Yeah, I actually have not been to. I hope there's not too much background noise on my end here, by the way.
You're
Oh,
good.
mine.
Mm-mm.
Okay, because I have a fan on and I have a window open because
No,
it's
it's hot as
27
hell.
degrees here.
It's 27 degrees. Is that what you said? What'd you just say to me?
When you do the math,
Celsius.
it's a lot.
Celsius,
You wanna-
Alex, Celsius.
It was like 95 here. Just
That was
27.
yesterday.
27 Canadian degrees. They're worth more.
Yeah, when you're acclimated to lower temperature. But yeah, I haven't been to an actual gaming convention before. That's why I kind of want to make sure I have things ready. I know I need to get certain documentation prepped, and I also need to finish certain character stuff for preparing for that larger game. Background details and things like that, which I kind of meant to do tonight, but now I'm here.
There still might be time for that tonight.
yeah, I mean,
I may be working on it as we speak. As a matter of fact, one description may read, "A brilliant tactician, but an idiot when it comes to relationships." Who could that be?
Alara?
It's not
Alarm.
Gator Man.
It's not Gator Man.
Mm-mm. That's one of his thoughts.
That's absolutely resonant.
That is resonant. It's it's lots of folks. We have a lot of
that's
unlucky
probably
and
true,
love
too, yeah.
heroes.
Yeah, I don't know how to condense Bowman's feelings on everybody into manageable sentences and not just a thing that I play through.
Mhm.
But that's a whole other tangent. As far as your actual question that you actually asked, yeah, I haven't been to a gaming convention before. I've been to a couple of conventions, 2 times. I think I went to Fan Expo a couple of times. Um, but yeah, other than that, I haven't really been to a separate gaming thing. And when it comes to my tabletop gaming stuff, I usually just play with people I already know, which is why most of the things I've signed up for are with people I already know. So that's a whole other thing I have to consider because I see a bunch of Pathfinder and Starfinder games on there, Pathfinder Society, Starfinder Society stuff that I would love to get into because I have a friend in the UK who's a GM for that sort of thing, and I've always been wanting to get into it. And obviously, there's going to be a bunch of those at Origins.
Oh yeah.
But then that comes with the extra step of like playing with new people and having to pretend I know what I'm doing.
Calvin, if you want to talk about that, I can talk to you about Starfinder, Pathfinder Society stuff. I do some of that stuff with a gaming group, and I've done it at the convention in the past too, so I can give you a little bit of heads up on that.
Yeah, I mean, I might have to ask you for some more um like direct info. And that's a whole other thing is I also have to add on the step of travel and everything too. It's a lot of firsts. I haven't been out of the country since fourth grade.
Oh my goodness.
So
And
yeah, I
was
don't
that
go
just across
nowhere.
was that just across the border into New York?
No, no, I was visiting some family in Barbados and it was nice. It was pretty cool. But then when I got back, Beyblades were a thing and I didn't get back soon enough to get on them. So I came in late. So, I like
Oh.
seeing my family and stuff, but well, I don't know if it was worth it.
But how dare they?
Yeah.
Actually, as a matter of fact.
But you're only in 11th grade now, so it's not been that long.
Yeah, I am a young man.
I'm gonna let that go because I think Calvin and I are the same age. In American, I don't know if Canadian age is different. But
Well, we measure age in metric.
oh dear, what are you like 3?
3.5.
3.5. Okay, okay.
3 centiyears. Yeah.
Cent a years. 75 moose bucks.
All right. So what can we answer for you, Calvin? What can we tell you about Origins that we probably haven't already done, or what questions do you have specifically?
Yeah, I was trying to think of like what would be useful to know. I mean, one of the things I don't know is even like the venue, but I'm not sure how useful that is as a stream question or just like a normal conversation question.
No, it's a good question.
Because one of the things is like
How far
obviously
does
I
it-
see the games are taking place in different like halls and stuff.
Mhm.
I assume there's going to be some sort of map available of the actual location itself.
Yes.
But then I have to consider like if I'm scheduling games, how long is it going to take me to get from one place to another? And should I not schedule things like too close together?
A big nervous point for a lot of people is I don't know what I'm walking into. So it's a great question.
Yep. So I like to say, because I did this for years in the past, where my day was full. It went 9 to 1, 1 to 5, 7 to 11. I had an hour break for dinner there. I don't do that anymore. It's too much. It's too quick, and you lose the ability to do anything else if you're just doing back to back to back gaming. And for the most part, depending on what you're doing, role-playing games are all going to be on the south end of the convention center. So they're all going to be within minimum or probably maximum 5 to 7 minute walking distance between each other.
Yeah, they're basically the different conference rooms of the Hyatt Hotel.
Yeah, usually
Usually.
there's 2 other gaming groups that are outside of the section in the Hyatt, but they're also not too far down there. But Origins, to answer the first question about this, Origins is held at the Greater Columbus Convention Center, which also makes up the Hyatt section of the their section of the rooms, which are all broken out, usually presidential names on the bottom for all the presidents that came from Ohio, and then some of the other rooms up on top. It's a 2-floor setup for that. The convention center and the Hyatt take up about 3-4 blocks, Alex, maybe a little bit more.
I'd say about that big. Yeah, 3 or 4 blocks.
You basically, it's a little weird when looking at the structure. It might actually be more than that, but going from the southern end of the convention center, which is where the Hyatt is, to the very northern end of the convention center probably doesn't take people more than 10-15 minutes to walk at a relatively normal pace. So you pretty much you go from if you have a game in the Hyatt and in like Clark or Union or any of those rooms, let's say, and then you have to go to the Greater Columbus Convention Center rooms for like a board game or something like that, there's going to be some distance between them, and you probably want to allow yourself, that 10-15 minutes to get there. So you don't want to necessarily be like, my game ends at 1, I have another game at 1. You probably want to say like, if I was doing things now and I wasn't trying to bounce around as much, I would probably do 8 to noon or 9 to 1, 1 to 5, 2 to 6, 6 to 10, 7 to 11, whatever fits in that scenario, depending on what you're doing. If you're going to do nothing but role playing games, if you're going to do board games, obviously then your structure has to be malleable enough to say, I'm going to go do this hour-long board game and then maybe try to get into this other one and see the other things from that nature.
Right.
Yeah. To give you an idea, like size wise, and this might not be helpful at all, but the convention center is not any bigger than like a shopping mall, but I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if that's helpful or not.
Well, we do have shopping malls. We just spelled them with a U, but
Oh, good. Where's the U? It's not where I think, I'm sure.
it's not where you.
So to help you get around, there is a map, but also there are many, many, many handy volunteer tables that if you're not sure where to go, just stop and ask. Like that is their job, is just to go, hey, I need to find this. Oh, no problem. Just head right over here, or you just follow that way. You're fine. I think, yes, I've been in Andy's previous shoes of just back-to-back gaming, and I think leave yourself time to eat, leave yourself time to, whether you buy a lot or not, leave yourself a good 2-3 hour block just to wander the dealer hall and shop a little bit and see what's out there.
Yeah, there's so much cool stuff in the dealer hall. I mean, that you could spend a whole day in there if you were reckless with your money.
Yeah, I mean, that was a whole other thing to figure out is like, do I need to bring cash or, I mean, that's like a travel thing. I obviously keep my questions like convention related.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone always, I've not seen someone who doesn't have a card reader, but if you've got cash, it's just easier because then you don't have to fiddle with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of the vendors will have Square readers though, or like a mobile cash register that can do like tap pay and things like that, or Apple Pay or Google Pay.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was hoping for.
And Calvin
don't
can't
have
come to Origins and not get his first set of actual convention dice.
That's true. We can actually get Norse Foundry
Ooh.
dice at the convention. I'm pretty sure they're going to be there.
Ooh.
Yeah, North Foundry, good people. If you don't want to buy them there, use code USP North. Go online, save yourself 10%.
Thanks for showing for us, dudes.
Nice.
Every time, baby.
I mean, well, speaking of dice, then, like, so what do you bring? Like, do you just show up with the clothes on your back? Like, what do you bring?
Depends on the event.
Depends on the event.
A lot of the RPGs
probably
that we run tend to have pre-gen characters available, but if you're looking at Pathfinder Society or Starfinder Society, they tend to want you to have a character with you.
Yep, they do.
Some of them also have pre-gens available.
Yeah, they tend to as well. They do have the pre.
Hi, I let myself in.
Wiki's here.
Yeah, Wiki, to your point, I some of the ones I was looking at, they did say that they included characters.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was one of the things that I wasn't sure about. Like, I obviously, like, since it's a society game, I assumed I would have to show up with my own society character.
You can. The pre-gens aren't horrible, and they'll give, if you haven't played a lot of Pathfinder or Starfinder, they'll give you a good idea of like what that character class can do.
Yeah.
But I have never gone to a society game and not brought my own character. It just feels better.
As a person going to a con or as a player, I would have a set of dice in your pocket.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe a pen or a pencil.
I would.
I
Full
usually
set of
bring
7.
like 2 bags.
Yeah,
Well, I
like
mean,
that is something
at
I
a
was
minimum.
wondering. Like, do I bring like? I mean, I assume I don't need to bring like a whole case, but like,
You don't have to. It varies from gamer to gamer. I mean, I have a dice tray I bring with me that has a couple of sets of dice in it. I mean, usually just D20s because I'm usually only playing M&M at conventions. But
yeah.
I do like to have a set of standard gaming dice if I decide to play something that's not M&M for whatever reason. Or I like to have a notebook. I like to have pens and pencils. I like to have index cards in case I need to make like a table tent real quick to be like, hey, this is who I am and who I'm playing. If the GM doesn't provide it, some GMs do provide that. Bottle for water.
Yep.
Snacks. Definitely bring snacks. Preferably something that's not messy, I think, and something that This recently started being brought to my attention, but I had trail mix with me and it had peanuts in it, and somebody was like, "Please put those away and never bring them back." So, just being mindful of allergens, like common allergens like peanuts and things like that.
Yeah,
Peanuts are a big one.
One thing I think it's kind of a nice about Origins that I don't see in some other cons is where it's set up, and they use a lot of the hotels. A lot of those hotels normally have it's the usual hotel water container, but ice water in it. Super helpful because you're not racing to find a drink. You can get water right there. It's a little thing, but it goes a long way when you're not thinking about it and you're thirsty.
And when you're in the Hyatt, they provide water usually outside the game rooms that the role playing games are being run in, or sometimes in the room as well, so that you can just get up at any point, go refill your water bottle during the game. It's great for the GMs too.
Yeah, there is generally not an expectation that you have your own rule books, especially for one shots or non-society games. I show up assuming nobody knows what M&M is when I sit down to play, so I have time in my prep to explain how the game works and things like that. And yeah, it's how prepared you want to be, which, knowing you, I assume is pretty prepared.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm part of me is wondering, like, should I bring like because if I start picking up stuff or purchasing stuff, I'll need somebody to carry it. So should I have like some sort of bag with me? Should I have like I don't know, like a small backpack or something?
I
Small
usually have a
backpacks are
backpack.
usually pretty good. Yeah. You don't want to have something so big that you're lugging it around and you're in the way of people, but you also don't want to have something so small that you can't put things into it. And I mean, the good thing is you're staying on site, so you can literally just take something back to your room if you get a moment to put it away if you're not taking it to your next thing. Like if you go and buy a set of dice and you want to use them in your next game, perfect.
Ooh.
But if you go to the dealer hall and you buy a board game because it looked really cool, take that back to your room because it probably isn't fitting in your bag.
Yeah.
And we do have a benefit where we will have a space on site, basically one of the connected hotels that you can go and drop stuff anytime you want to.
Okay.
I think when you are shopping, do not assume the dealer will have a bag.
Yeah.
Some will. I never assume that they do, and even if they have them, I'm like, I have a bag. You can keep it for somebody who's not ready.
And if you want, for your amusement, Alex, continuing to show, I will say you should have just a set of dice with you, but yeah, get yourself an awesome dice tray. Ooh, there we go. Look at that, bad lad. Bunch of dice holder.
You got to put it directly in front of your head.
Yep, there's my nugget.
There you go.
There's
Wait,
a
there's a camera.
Nope.
No, there you
There
go.
it goes.
Which you can also get from the good people at North Foundry. So if you've got something really cool you want to show off and flex, bring it and show off. Geeks love showing off and talking about the other crap that they spent way too much money on they love. I am 100% on board with this.
Oh, I just noticed Claude is in chat. Curly Insane Guy. Claude is one of our new GMs coming to run events for USP.
What up, Claude?
He'll be one of our runner GMs for Nether War's my game. Shadow War. And he has a number of Earth Prime M&M games that he'll be running. So please come and ruin his day.
If RC tells you horror stories about how I ran him ragged during the event, don't listen to him. He's obviously a liar, and there's no way I did that to him.
Mm-hmm.
I 100% did that to him. I wore that guy out, but he's a fibber.
RC is a very good kid who is older than me.
Is he really?
Yeah, he is. I think he's a year older than me. He's not much older than I am, but that was not I've never had that impression in all of our interactions together that I was not older than him. He's just trendy. He's still with it.
I give it to him. RC is a sharp dresser, 100%.
RC is
and
a sharp
good
dresser.
guy.
And a great guy. Yeah, he's a great guy.
So 2 things for Calvin.
Mhm.
1, think roughly 2 hockey arenas
Okay.
in size. Got to put it in Canadian for you.
It's like when you do something described in football fields of the U.S. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's like 100%.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Roughly 2 hockey arenas kind of set back to back. as far as size. And I think we definitely have to make you get a cup of dice
Yeah.
from the
yes.
unicorn.
Yeah.
Unicorn.
From the unicorn. Yes.
What is this? What does that mean?
You'll
Just brace
see.
yourself.
Just brace
Okay.
yourself.
If you can
Um,
swing it. If you can swing it.
Wiki,
Talk
my
to them.
my favorite version of what you just did is that news report that said they found a large rock the size of a small boulder. It's like, come on, America.
Those are the same thing.
But I think if you can swing it, if you can find your dealer hall time to coincide with one or two other people, unless you just want to run solo, but running with a buddy is good and bad. It's good because they will point out things you will miss as you walk past. It's bad because, as Miss Violet will tell you, generally one person is that one who's like, you should totally get that for yourself. When else are you going to get it? And you'll spend more money than you should.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah, no, that
I am that person. I am.
Yeah,
a
don't
bad
go with me.
influence.
I'm not a good influence. I'm
I
like,
know
yes,
that's gonna
get the thing
happen.
that you want. Yes, you need it.
I will be literally in a different country.
um,
I got a
I
big
would-
trunk. I'm driving you home, right?
I mean, that's another thing, but that's off air.
yeah, I would plan for Ohio weather can be fickle.
Mm-hmm.
You do have the ability of never going out, never stepping foot outside if you so choose not to.
That's one of my
I would-
favorite parts about Origins.
I would absolutely say, please do step outside because there's actually places. There is places worth going outside the convention center that requires you to step outside, Alex.
There are.
Yes.
I mean, karaoke on
Oh.
Tuesday night. We will have to walk down the sidewalk away from the convention center.
I might take everyone on a field trip just to walk down to my home away from home. Visit
Oh.
lower.com.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because,
I was
well,
gonna say
because there's
Crew
a game
Stadium.
Saturday night and I don't get to go.
Gosh, I
But-
want to make like an itinerary, to be honest.
You
It's a
probably
good
do,
idea.
You probably do want to have a little bit of a schedule and idea, but when I say Ohio weather can be fickle, one day it can be 70, the other day it can be 90, and the convention center will accommodate but not accommodate at the same point in time. 70 and 90 being like, what was it, 26 today? You said
Yeah, 20, 27, 26, 27. Yeah.
27. So I think
So 70 is 21 and 90 is closer to 30, I assume.
that would be
Yeah,
my
it
guess,
would
yeah.
be pretty close to 30.
Roughly.
Yeah, over 30.
Because
Okay,
32 is boiling, right?
okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is
So-
101 in American dollars.
American dollars. Oh my God.
132 is freezing.
So yeah, like 21 to 30-ish. So that's yeah.
And the convention center
Layers.
is layers are
Layers.
layers is where I'm going to. You're gonna want jeans, shorts if you want them, but you're gonna want to be able to like have a pullover or something else that you can take off if you get too hot, and have something on underneath it. And if you're gonna go if you're gonna go outside when it's not air conditioned, then
Yeah.
you're gonna want to not be wearing long sleeves. But inside the convention center,
Like,
the
is it pretty
rooms-
chilly in there?
It can be.
can-
A
it
lot of the
can.
rooms can, like, in my experience, especially if you're sitting right underneath an aircon vent, you're looking at like maybe 18 degrees. Tim Hortons.
18 degrees Tim Hortons.
Okay.
I had one year where I played in a game after the fire alarm went off because the substation exploded.
The fire alarm went off because Shocker said, "I'm pulling the fire alarm in the daily."
No, that
Bugle."
was a different.
Oh, this is a different year. Okay.
This
That
was
was
like
a different
10.
year.
This was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
10 years ago, Alex.
Oh, good. I was
Um,
probably there. I don't remember.
yeah, you probably were. But
I
I
would have
had
been right around the time we met. I think, Andy.
it would have been right
2014?
around that. Yep, right around that time frame. I think it was 2013 when this happened.
Mm-hmm.
But there was when we all came back in, they had really cranked everything down to get the air conditioning back to some semblance of comfortable because the power had been off for a while, so there was no air conditioning for the rooms and they were hot and stuffy. Well, the room I was in was like in between two sections of the convention center and felt like it had two different air conditioning vents coming into the same room. So
Mm.
like I sat literally under it in shorts and a t-shirt, and it was probably 50 degrees Fahrenheit. I got so sick that year because I was sitting under that air conditioning vent. It was ridiculous.
Okay, yeah. No.
So
you,
you want
you
to
do
come
bring up a good point for me. While having an itinerary is good, I'll tell a lighthearted story of why you've also got to go with the flow.
Yes.
Uh, so to give you a lighthearted one, across from the convention center is a lovely little place called the North Market. Has a crap ton of different food. It's excellent. It's you got a little bit of wait, but wonderful. And there is a very, very good barbecue place there. We'll recommend. And I got it 2 years ago. It was great. I was looking forward to getting it to this year. Went in a North Market, was popping my way along, went right by it, and they were closed. Not permanently, but closed that day.
Yeah.
So the disappointment will get you, in which case you just got to flow with and go, all right, well, this is not what I don't get exactly what I want, but let's see what worlds of opportunity in front of me. And you can find great stuff. You just got to don't let anything get you down. Just ramble on to the next and keep going and enjoy yourself.
Yeah,
I think my advice for the first year is to have like one big event that you're excited for each day, and then sort of have floating time for the rest of the time. Like
I
maybe
still have,
find
like,
some
some
other
days I
events
have
that
to
you
fill out,
like.
so
Yeah.
Fill out your time, but make sure you leave yourself time for the dealer hall. Leave yourself time to explore the area a little bit. Like Deuce said, the North Market, which is pretty much right across the street from the convention center,
Do as
is
I
one
say,
of
not
those-
as I do.
is one of those places that is absolutely worth stepping outside of the convention center to get to. Deuce talked about the barbecue, but that place is chock full of other different restaurants. There's a pretzel place, there's a ramen bar, there's a Polish place, there's pizza, there's pasta, there's Mediterranean,
There's
Turkish,
Hot
Polish.
chicken takeover.
Hot
Yeah,
chicken
that's only
takeover, yeah.
Hot
only
chicken
or-
takeover is
I-
my shit.
I will admit one of the things I am fascinated by is your American fast foods. So
Oh, we will. I'll get you whatever you want.
do we get him a Jets pizza? Is that what we get?
We have Tim
Oh.
Hortons.
We do have Tim
Well-
Hortons. There'll be a little
So
taste
yeah,
of
Tim
I
home.
mean-
Hortons downtown.
Mhm.
Calvin, you, me, and a Philly. That's going to happen. We're going to have a cheesesteak and we're going to love it.
I'm just sitting here thinking it's like Calvin's interested in fast food, and I'm going, where the hell is there a McDonald's around the convention center?
There isn't one.
I know that's why it was my brain's going like, but there's plenty
You have to go.
of good food around the convention center.
Just leave yourself a little time to go.
Yep.
And an hour's pushing it. If you're just you want to go, I'm going to get my food. I'm going to get somewhere and eat. You're okay. But if you want to sit down and eat, give yourself 2 hours. So just somewhere in there one day to have a nice meal.
Don't be me. Leave yourself time to eat.
Mhm.
Yep.
Don't
And
be
let other people
Wiki
know.
or Alex.
Yeah, and let
I'm
other
one of
people
those
know.
people who pack my schedule back to back, and it's not good. And I tell myself every year I'm not going to do it, and then I'm like looking at my schedule and going, "Whoops, did it again."
Let's say if you let people know, you'll get people like, "Oh, you're going to grab food? Well, I'm free. Let's grab it together." You know, people that'll make you eat, and that's the best part. Is so what have you run into this con? For me, my best part is chatting with the people you know, you like, and
Mhm.
just having a grand old time.
yeah,
Wiki,
I
my
mean,
version of that is Andy tells me I'm not going to do it every year, and I still wind up doing it.
And he still ends up doing it. I can tell him all I want. It just doesn't sink in.
Oh, the mileage is starting to wear on. That's probably just because I'm tired.
I actually
of the day.
did pretty well this year. The only back to back, like directly back to back things I have, it's my event that I'm running and an event that I signed up for, and that's only because Origins fucked up my time, not because I did it. So
I'm just looking at the chat. I'm seeing some. I think that sounds like good advice. Hitting the dealer hall on the first day to get the stuff that you have to have, and then
Mhm.
coming back later to negotiate for things you might want.
Yeah, the last day, people don't want to put that shit back in a box.
Yeah.
That is my professional insider information as somebody who hates picking up boxes of books.
And dealer hall first day is Thursday, not Wednesday.
Right.
Wednesday is
when are you coming in.
Wednesday's kind of a soft opening day. Not really, but
If we can swing it, I would like Calvin to be there on Tuesday. But
Yeah, we might have to talk about travel stuff.
Yeah.
Off air. That's why. But yeah, I mean, I want to be there. Gosh, I want to hang out with everybody. What about?
Yeah. Tuesday night
like-
is going to be the low pressure hangout with everybody.
And the live play of Something in the Dark, possibly, probably, perhaps.
Perhaps.
Okay.
What was that question, Calvin? Because I know you
Oh
had
no,
one.
I had a straight thought, but now I'm like, it's not really convention related, but I'm like, it's more of a travel thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm here like, how much clothes do I bring? Like,
Set of clothes for every day that you're going to
Mhm.
be there at a minimum, and then maybe a couple of extras just on the off chance that you get stuck in a rainstorm if you stepped outside or something along those lines. So
yeah, or if it's really hot and you get sweaty and you want
Yeah.
want to change, or
Bring at least 3 extra pairs of socks.
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Yeah, 3 extra pairs of socks and whatever you guys wear for underwear.
What's underwear? Someone had to
It's
say it.
actually just a toque with a couple extra holes.
That's what I thought.
Like a moose
Wow.
fur rug.
Yeah,
that you
Yeah.
fashion
Oh,
into
boy.
yeah.
Remarkably uncomfortable, but very warm.
just a rattle cage of antlers. Just a caribou skull.
wow.
I'm just trying to imagine like a moose antler loincloth.
It's my caribou chastity belt.
Oh boy.
Don't mind me.
You're slap happy.
Look, I've been up for almost 48 hours.
Look,
Yeah.
the prep may be getting to us. That's all I'm saying.
Warden also
well-
brings up a good point, just in case somebody spills something in a chair and you accidentally sit in it, or
Oh, sure.
I always recommend bringing whatever bag you're carrying around the convention. I like to have deodorant in it just in case. And I learned a ratio a long time ago that I think is really important, is to get at least 6 hours of sleep, eat 2 meals, and then
One shower.
1 shower
Every day.
every day while you're there.
Not
Not the
no.
whole time. Every day.
Every day.
It's like a coupon book. He's like, well, turn in my shower ticket for the con.
Also-
All right.
I'm rationing
Also-
water in the hotel room.
Also, as a person who struggles to breathe sometimes, I would like to ask that everyone please leave their perfume and Axe body spray at home.
Sorry, Wiki.
Yeah, that was another thing, is just like how to make sure I don't stank the whole time.
Yeah, I like a non-scented antiperspirant when it's a big public event like this. And I carry it around with me because I get sweaty and it's hot.
Not a requirement, but something that I've seen some people do too is, grab you a pack of gum, because later on the con, some of the less than thoughtful people, share gum at the table. People are thankful, and if, you offer it to the table, the dude with the dragon breath may not realize you're just kind of singling him out.
Box
Yeah,
of
but the
box of
problem
Altoids.
is the problem is it's always the one guy with the dragon breath who says no.
It's better than just going, it's going to be a tough 4 hours, but we're making this happen, guy.
I think that is an important thing to keep in mind, is you will be playing games with strangers, and not everybody is housebroken. I don't know how this happens. Some people, you will run into some of those guys. Some people who have just bad hygiene or poor manners, but you also run into a lot of great people who are there to have a great time. And I find that you tend to get the energy that you give to people. And you won't have a problem with that, Calvin. You make a good impression to everybody you meet. But
Sure.
but
Calvin's
if
not
you
a
run into
that
bad
guy.
people, let us know, and we will yell at them for you. Do not tell them
Calvin's
their
more
weed
of
is
a,
neat.
that guy.
Do not tell them their drugs are cool. We will come and save you.
Yes, and don't take gummy bears in the bathroom.
Yeah, that's going to be more of a material concern there, I think.
Oh boy.
That's general advice for everyone. Do not take gummy bears or any kind of food from strangers in your bathrooms. Just don't.
Good to know.
Yeah, Miss Violent Violet mentions bringing a little pack of man wipes or baby wipes to refresh in the bathroom between games. That's always, I like that's. I keep a lot of smell things around me because I have a fear that I smell all the time, and I try really hard not to.
Oh, same. I don't know. I just feel like I sweat a lot when it gets super hot. So, any advice?
Miss
Yeah.
Violet is my shopping buddy too, so we're gonna do some of that this year.
Yeah, I'm hoping that I can align with people. At least like with regards to shopping and things like that. I don't mind like maybe bouncing around by myself for a bit. Like happen to well, yeah, like how does if I don't have a thing scheduled and I'm just orbiting, what can I do?
Okay, so now we get into the
This is a
the
question for not me.
yeah, this is a question for anybody that actually wanders the rest of the convention center in and of itself. So, dealer hall is open from 10 to 6 every day, except for Sunday, which is only open from 10 to 4. So, anytime you're orbiting and you don't have something to do, you can go wander the dealer hall. The dealer hall is not necessarily just the place where they're vending stuff for you to buy. There are also, at least there was last year, there were gigantic miniature displays for like Warhammer and other games of that nature that they had, so you could go and peruse those. There's a number of special guests that are coming to Origins, which includes Scott Grimes, Adrian Padalecki, and a couple of other, like one guy from the Big Bang Theory is coming. So there'll be chances to get autographs with celebrities if you're into that. There's different authors that are going to be at Origins that are going to be giving talks. Sometimes they're talking about the things that they do, their books or how to write things along those lines. There's also the game library, which is basically it's run by the Columbus Area Board Game Society, CABS, and they have, for those of us in the U.S., and I don't know about Calvin because I don't know how your art rooms were growing up, but we used to have these giant lockers that had paint and art supplies in them when we went to art class. They have a whole lot of them stuffed with board games, and they have a whole area roped off that is literally you show them your badge, you go in, you can go up to the front, you can look at their library of board games and check one out, take it back to a table and set up a cone, say, hey, I'm looking for players, or I'm looking for somebody to teach me this game. And you can literally, there are people that literally just spend their entire convention in that library. And then you also would have the if you're into collectible card games, there's the collectible card game area, which those are usually running drafts or things along those lines that you could jump into for like Magic the Gathering or Lorcana. I know Lorcana is doing some stuff this year. And I think those are probably ticketed events this year too, but I'm not 100% sure if they do anything outside of that.
Miss Violent mentions paint and tank too, which is you show up, they give you a miniature and you paint it and you take it with you.
Yep.
She and I did that last year. They give you the paints, they give you the brushes, there's a table. If you say, hey, I'm looking for this color, they'll go, oh, hold on, they'll find the paint and bring it to you. There's no cost and there's no time. There's no time limit. So you sit down, you paint it as much as you want. You don't even have to paint it. You can sit down, take the mini, go, that was cool, and walk off with an unpainted mini. They don't care.
Yeah, I was just about to say you can just take the mini and go if you don't have time to paint. Just make sure you take it with you.
Yeah.
I mean, if I did that and it was very clearly my first time painting a mini, would I be able to? Is there cones also available? For...
the people that run that are generally miniature painters, so they can give you tips and tricks.
Yeah. If you go with Deuce, he's really good at teaching too.
I dig it. I enjoy it. Actually, I'll put a picture in Discord of mine. Maybe Violet's if she gives me permission, because it was her first time too, and I don't want to go, look at what she did. I think she did a heck of a job, by the way. No ego, no jokey. She rocked it. But I won't share unless she says it's okay. But I'll put mine up there.
She said sure. She said it's all right.
All right.
But so let's see what else is going on. So there's also True Dungeon this year, which is its own separate thing. You have to buy the tickets through their website versus Origins, but it's basically a miniature LARP, but it's very structured and set through as to like, yep, I'm gonna do this and do it within their scenario. I don't know if they're coming back or not. They didn't come back after COVID. It's been a couple of years. I don't actually know if they are coming to Origins or not, but we used to have BattleTech pods. So they used to have pods where you would actually get into like what would be the cockpit of a BattleTech mech, and you would PvP everybody else that was in the other pods, and you'd get like a 10-minute game for a couple of bucks. Now, maybe because Origins went away from dealing with generic tickets and stuff, they don't actually have the ability to do that anymore. But I know COVID kind of was like, because you couldn't sterilize those things in between people going into them, so their model didn't work. But I don't know if they're coming back or not. That used to be something to do outside of just doing the gaming in and of itself.
Would you like an embarrassing news story about the BattleTech pods?
Always.
So, absolute BattleTech pods are fun. Here's one little thing they may not tell you. And just next, I don't mind making myself look like an idiot. I'm here for it. So I got to play them 1 year. Had a lot of fun. It is great. And if you like BattleTech, it's a nice immersive experience.
Calvin, just imagine a row of eggs that you step inside to play Mech Warrior.
That's kind of what I was picturing.
Oh, yeah, it's your Pacific Rim. It's 100% what you want. So after the game was over, had a great time and all that, I lean over, and mind you, it is enclosed, so it is nice and pitch black. The screens are your only light. Great immersive experience. 5 out of 5 would recommend. But I reach over, grab the handle, and I pull back the door, and my Bobo monkey strength that I wasn't paying attention for, I push the door back, and the door just keeps on running, slides off the tracks, hits the ground, just loud crash in the middle of the con. Everyone stops and looks at me, and I just step out of the pod and go,
Damn.
sorry. Go pick up the door and put it back. So, yeah. Just be careful with the equipment.
Looks like I found the ejector door. Sorry.
And in special events is mine and Miss Violence Minis. This year they had a nice little company. I have to find my wallet. I've got their card. They did anthropomorphic animals, and they had some anthropomorphic cats. So we chose 2 cats to paint, and I still think she did a hell of a job.
Yeah, I think she did a great job. I heard the pods weren't coming back because they were taking too much damage. Now I know who's responsible.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, even just people watching is a ton of fun at that too, Calvin. Just finding a place to grab a cup of coffee and just hang out while people nerd all over the place is real cool. There's also musicians typically in a lot of the hallways. Like, they're either playing like 8-bit music or there's some string quartets. It's always nerdy something that they're playing.
If you want hard mode, I'll say hard mode is not right, but other things you can do. There are a lot of people who are buying new board games and stuff, and possibly you as well, depending on how you feel. Feel free to sit down, crack it out, and you can get people just randomly walking by going, well, that looks neat. Let's give it a shot. Never hesitate to, if you've got a brand new game that you're not sure how to play, people will just kind of like yourself go, well, I'm not doing anything. I want to look at this. That looks cool. Let's see how it plays. And you can just grab random people and play stuff.
Yep. I do think you should check out Kobold's Ate My Baby with Wiki.
Midnight Massacre.
Because I think you would have a wonderful time. With...
If that's Friday night, he can't because he's playing Power Rangers.
Oh. Not till midnight, right? How are you running your game, Eddie?
It's from 5 to 10, and it's not a midnight massacre that starts at midnight.
How dare they?
Midnight Massacre that ends at midnight. But how dare they? They're all like 40 and 50 years old now. So
how very dare.
I'm very sad I won't be with you guys either because my game falls on that time frame.
The other thing I was gonna say, people watching Saturday, they do have a cosplay contest. That's usually I think at 3:00. So if you want to see people that have put a lot of time and effort into making costumes for characters that they're passionate about,
people named Andy.
I'm not doing the costume contest this year.
What?
Really?
Yes, I am not doing the costume contest this year. And too much has happened in my life for me to have gotten the costume together for this year. So,
well, I understand, but
this is the first year I won't be doing it for quite some time. So,
just compliments. You kill it every year. Sad you can't, but understand it.
You're still gonna dress up during the con, right?
Maybe I might bring my Casey Jones stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure.
Yep, no pressure. I always love Andy's costumes, especially your Superboy. I think your Superboy's great. I know that's an easy costume, but it's still really good. It's really cool.
Yeah. I'm trying to think like what else there is to do during the convention itself.
If you're feeling exceedingly friendly and you find an event that you would very much like to go to, but it is sold out, it is not completely inappropriate just to show up. Yeah, the GM will normally be the first one there, unless it's Alex. Then yeah, he's running from event to event.
I am there on time for my events.
Directly on top. I'm kidding. Someone's got to pick one.
I put an hour buffer in between all the events I run, specifically so I could get there on time. Now, if the game runs an hour late, that's not my fault.
See, but show up. But the same. These people are super excited about the games. A lot of times they've written. Chat with them and just ask, like, hey, if someone doesn't show up or there's an extra spot, do you care if I slide in? A lot of people have an extra spot they don't sell tickets for. And sometimes there are people just, for whatever reason, were stuck at another game, couldn't show up, or just don't make it.
Or they're hungover.
In which case, or they're hungover. There's a slot that you can slide right in. So I wouldn't do it for everything, but if there's something you really, really want to play and it's full, it doesn't mean don't show up.
There's a group called Games on Demand that generally is like I don't have anything else to do. I'm gonna run down here, kind of wait and see and that's kind of like a hodgepodge of different games and different systems, and they'll just have GMs that are kind of prepped and ready to run with a group, and they'll just seat everybody at the table like, hey, you're interested in sci-fi? Cool, we got this game. Come have a seat. And you don't have to be ticketed for that, so you can kind of just show up whenever.
As Miss Violet said, the social deduction games are always a blast. It's a group of 12 people, and Secret Hitler, Werewolf, a lot of the big hits. Blood on the Clock Tower, if you want something super complicated, it's still a good game, but they just went, I'm going to make this a textbook.
That's a good Thursday game, not a good Saturday game.
But are great games, and people will run them just constantly. As one finishes, cool, let's get another one started, and they keep running. So super easy to fill your time with.
And Warden also mentions that you could take time to go back to the room and decompress, or just if you're feeling a little peopled out, because it is a lot of people.
Or have a nap.
Or if you need a nap, there's no problem with that. We will have a parlor space, so we have snacks, we'll have drinks, just somewhere that we can go as a group if we want to decompress, or if at the end of the day when all the games are done, that's probably where we'll be hanging out. Just depending.
Yeah, I mean, so long as I have options for things to do, like when I'm on my own, because I know everybody's gonna have their games, everybody's gonna have their schedule of things that they're doing. So I know there's gonna be moments where it's like it's just me out there, so I got to figure out something to do, even if it's just going back to the room and chilling out.
The cool thing is you know a lot of people here, so you will you're going into a big group of people who love you and want you to have a good time.
Oh, you guys. Yeah, that was.
I think you will find you in no way lacking for options. Absolutely.
Yeah,
If nothing, Kat will take you wherever she's going.
Fair enough.
You will wind up in Kat's orbit, and you will be stuck there.
And I'm not going to lie, it's a great place to be. That's why she's my wife-in-law.
I can live with that.
My wife-in-law?
The Moon twins in person.
Imagine the look on Brian's face when I said, hey, nice to meet you, husband-in-law. He went, wait, when did that happen? She went, a while ago. Just roll with it. So yeah, we're husband-in-law.
Yeah, and don't feel like you have to stay with us. We want you to have a good time and get whatever you want out of this experience. It's a big travel. It's a big event. It's exciting and it's new, and I want you to have a great time.
Well, it being my first one, like I don't mind. I mean, that was I was hoping I wouldn't be like annoying to people, because I was gonna probably cling to whoever I could.
I would be shocked if any of us found that annoying.
Cool.
Maybe Andy. Andy might find it.
I'm not gonna.
I mean, I don't know. It's different from like 3 hours of Calvin a week.
Look, if I could get more Calvin a week, I would take it.
my Calvin quotient's not high enough.
I have there's bad tariffs right now.
Yeah, no, it's
No good imports, no good exports.
the dollars in a
have to
rough shape.
smuggle the Calvin I get across the border.
Yeah. Okay. What?
Yeah,
other-
Miss Violet suggests picking a friend today to cling to. If you are worried about getting on somebody's nerves, you can rotate because there are lots of us.
Yeah, I think that was one of my concerns. Is just like because I haven't filled out my schedule. Like there's still like days that I don't have a thing planned for. I mean, I left my Saturday pretty open because I know that's the big crossover day, even though that's at like 6, but that's the big event day, I should say.
Yeah, and that I mean that make sure to eat and like decompress before the big event because it was a lot last year. It was a great time. It wasn't a lot. It was a lot of energy. It was a lot of moving people around. We had a little bit of a drama snafu in the middle, but we resolved it and it was good and we kept going. Andy stepped in and was a big damn hero because Andy's really good at being a big damn hero.
I will say, as a personal thing that I like is that you'll have the ability to experience. I like our big event because personally, and USP, all of us, but we have characters in there that we've invested some time and care into making and crafting your own, and you're letting it out into the world. So I like seeing how other people take up the mantle and do things. Because they may do things you've never thought. It may not, like, that's not how I play them, but it's not a bad thing. It's like, it's neat to see how some people take what you've done and go, well, I see this. It's that, oh, I see a cloud of a race car. And then it's like, I see a cloud of a penguin with a, on a train shooting at a monkey.
I see a crash panda.
Yeah. I think it's something very, very kind of neat to see.
I think you're just saying that because Gatorman won Player of the Year last year.
I'm still proud of it. And actually, feel yourself being a little silly. It's a bunch of geeks, so if I see you across the way and you bust out, you show me the champion of the light, you're singing at your top of your lungs, I'm here for it.
That's the real reason I want Calvin to be here on Tuesday is for karaoke.
I know, but I wasn't going to tell him that. I'm just going to let him find out for himself.
Yeah, no, I
keep saying the quiet parts out loud, Alex.
I'm not responsible for me.
Yes, you are.
Where's my wife?
Hopefully, I don't know if singing Calvin will. I don't know what I'm gonna be like in real life versus online, but hopefully, still fun.
Look, there's no pressure to sing at karaoke as long as you're just there.
Oh no, I mean
I hope that you do. I would.
That's a separate thing. I'm probably going to. I just mean like in general.
You can ask Maximus, but this is the same in person or over online. The only difference is I can hug you in person, so that's up to you to decide.
I am looking forward to that part.
Yeah, we're big. I'm a big hugger. I mean, definitely, let people know where you're. Like if you're not a big hugger, tell people beforehand. And everybody's respectful. Everybody will listen.
You get the arms wide, just and if all needs the nod, if you get the nod, you're going in the air.
Just pick me up.
I pick everybody up. It's what I do.
I'm not supposed to do that. Gravity is not my ally.
Hugging is serious business. If you don't half-ass that, you come in strong.
Yeah. Warden says last year was his first big con, and he soloed Origins and had a blast. It was great. I mean, Warden got to play in a lot of our games, but he also was off doing his own thing for a lot of, and it was a good time.
I was lucky enough to GM for Warden, and I was thrilled. He gave me the, you know who this is? No, he told me like, I got the hug.
You might wind up married like Deuce and Cat.
Yeah. My wife's still coming to terms with it when the others do.
Yeah, like, as nervous as I am about it, that is one of the things I am looking forward to. Hopefully, being able to do is just seeing everybody in person and not in a little Zoom box.
Yeah.
Yes. Some people will be a jump scare. Kevin being 6'1" was a jump scare for me the first time I saw Kevin in person.
Kevin's are big dudes. I'm 6'2".
I know. Yeah, that also shocked me. Not as much as Kevin, like Kevin Prime.
That's fair.
We won't have Kevin Prime
Yeah.
at Origins this year, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
I love the comment, Max, with people are not to scale.
People are
True.
not to scale.
Very true. Sorry, just give me 1 second. I'm gonna turn on a light because it's getting dark in here and my lighting looks weird.
I mean, it's just your space theme.
It shouldn't affect like I don't know. I'll be right back.
Oh. This has been good. This is good for anybody that's coming to Origins from just a general perspective of just like all this info that we can dump, because some of us have been doing this for the better part of
I'll be right back.
Okay.
almost 2 decades.
The better
Yeah.
part of forever.
Okay. I'm trying to think of other like stuff I want to know. I'm probably going to go watch the VOD of this back when this is over and make some actual notes of things I ought to remember. I mean, I got to make sure I have luggage. I'm pretty sure I do.
Yeah. I mean, Wednesday morning will be badge pickup, because they don't think they're not going to do any badges probably Tuesday. They did a soft opening like 2 years ago on Tuesday, which was very nice for the hour that they did it. But I don't think they're doing that again this year. So you kind of want to make sure that you've gotten up and you've gotten your badge well in advance of whatever your first game is. Every year there's a little bit of there's some snafu that happens. Like I think last year the power went out, so the laptops couldn't connect to the internet, so that they couldn't register, so they couldn't get people's badges and stuff printed or something, or the printers went out or something like that happened.
That was something I was wondering. It's like, do I have to print my own badge,
Nope.
or is it printed there? Okay.
Basically, when maybe a week before the convention or just a couple of days before the convention, you'll get an email to the email address you registered with. They'll send you a QR code. All you have to do is bring the QR code to the registration, which is at the north end of the convention center. Scan the QR code. It'll print your badge and all of your tickets for all your games. They'll give you the holder, and you'll probably get you'll get the guidebook to the convention. So it'll be the year's guidebook that'll have the maps for the dealer hall and some of the other information that's in there for like advertisements for games and stuff like that. And then you'll get a coupon book. You'll get a coupon book that's good at different vendors in the dealer hall. And some of them are, show up here and get a free D6, buy $10, get a free pin, spend $100, get XYZ. The coupons are kind of good at different vendors for different things, for some monetary value off or something free with purchase. So that's also a good thing to do, is when you get that, kind of go through it and see if there's anything that you want, or if anything like strikes your fancy that you would at least want to go look at from that coupon, so that you can take it with you at all times when you go to the vendor hall.
Yeah, one actually thing, it's a freebie, but in the coupon book every year is your Origin C6. So at the very least, you get a D6 to take back home with you in your swag bag.
Yeah, or you can spend the $25 and get the whole set.
Yep.
It includes the free D6 and then the other 7 polyhedrals to make a full set.
Mm-hmm.
And they're usually, I say the only problem with that is that now it's the Origins logo, or the Origins part is on there, and the
Crystal Cast.
Yeah, and Crystal Cast is on there too. So you don't know which one's the 1 and which one's the 6.
You have to declare it.
You have to declare it.
Good to know.
Or it's just a souvenir.
Yeah, or it's just a souvenir.
I can live with that.
You end up with a lot of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're into enamel pens, like I am, please behave yourself, camera.
He's pinboard.
You can collect Origins related pens. There's a pen bazaar So, gens. That'll be in your booklet as to who has origin spins.
Yeah, there's stuff to scratch whatever dorky itch you've got. 100%.
Okay. So I guess where my head is at the moment is to get there. If it's not available Tuesday, which it sounds like it won't be, but like Wednesday, early as possible, get like the actual ticket and everything, which will have, you
Yep.
know, for my events that I'm signed up for,
Mhm.
these coupons and all that jazz.
Mhm.
Have that on me, maybe put it in my inventory backpack or whatever.
You'll want to wear your badge. They'll have a
Yeah.
lanyard for you to wear, because that's basically, you have to have that to get into specific areas of the convention, most notably the dealer hall and the gaming halls that are in the convention center themselves. And then the GMs in the role-playing section are supposed to make sure that you have the badge on you and that you're just not somebody randomly showing up to play the game.
Okay.
That's
And
what
they
they look
will
like.
That doesn't say Wiki Thomas. That's not right.
they will provide the lanyard or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They will print off the badge and all your tickets, and then they have the lanyards and the books right there where you can just stuff your badge, stuff the tickets in behind it in the lanyard, so it's all right there.
Yep.
Makes
Okay.
it super, super easy.
And then
Okay.
they have a little bit of they have a store where they'll
Oh,
sell you
hey!
an ups and yeah. there's an event ticket.
There's an event ticket from last year.
They have a store where you can buy like an upgraded one, like one that's got pockets and stuff to it, because the one that they give you is literally just like a plastic holder at the end of a lanyard. So
Yeah, looks like that.
you absolutely want to 100% make sure you do not lose that. We had it happen last year. PETA lost her badge. Thankfully, it got turned into Lost and Found, but we lost our badge before the costume contest last year, and I went back through North Market as Link from Breath of the Wild, looking for the badge on the floor, going all over the place. It was
It was a real
dangerous to go
quest.
alone.
it was a real quest. Yeah.
So if you're gonna use your plastic one, just be aware.
Okay.
Yeah, and these
Last year's
cloth
had
ones aren't
extra
allowed.
holes in it, so
Yep.
it's not a bad investment to get one like
Alex has.
And
Yeah.
Deuce has.
Yeah,
I
and you
like
can
this
just keep
because it's got a
reusing it, right?
pouch too. It's got a pouch you can put your tickets in. Mine has a pen clasp, so I can put a pen in it. I keep a
You know the
Sharpie
cool-
in the back pocket too, in case somebody comes up and wants something signed.
You know the coolest part about Vanna Whiting this thing is it's black on black, so no matter what, you're like, look, a hole just looks black. Can't see anything, but my finger disappears. Ooh.
I should bring my copy of
have?
Magician's Sin and get it signed.
because the lanyards that
Yeah.
they provide are always sponsored by somebody.
I waited for Alex to not be paying attention to say
Yes.
What?
that.
My lanyard is sponsored by Inspector Gadget. I'm a
Hey.
junior member.
Like here's last year's lanyard. I think it's last year's. No, 2019's lanyard was sponsored by White Wizard Games.
Okay, so
That's
I
a
guess
big-
it might be worth investing in the pocket protector then.
You can also get it
Yeah.
at the convention if you don't want to get it in
Yeah.
ahead of time. They sell them at the convention.
Mhm.
I think they're like $20.
That wasn't too bad. But yeah, after you have fun with it, if when you go, well, I guess I'll probably have to come back, then yeah, get you one for next time.
Yeah, I mean, it might be just worth it in general. So
It's a great place to put your USP button if you head over to our Redbubble store and pick up some stuff.
So,
Everybody's getting
Get-
T-shirts this year too, so
get into the hall. Same with the T-shirt for Saturday, by the way. Get to the hall. Get the tickets and badges. Put them in the lanyard container. If I get the additional one, put them in there. Have it out and wearing around my neck, so it's out. And then anything else, I guess, if need be. Well, I don't like. I'm not going to carry the coupon book around, obviously.
No,
keep
Put
mine
it
in
in the
my
backpack
backpack.
or a pocket.
Yeah,
keep it in your backpack. Yeah.
and then just mill around until I have like days where I have a game. Just use a map and get to wherever the game is. And days when I don't, I feel like I might be orbiting the board game area because that does sound pretty baller.
It is pretty good.
But if there is, I do want to try that mini painting thing at least once. I will have to see what the schedule for that actually is, depending on where I am and what I'm doing.
I think that's open the same amount of time that the dealer hall is, so I think it's 10 to 6 every day. And you can go in, you get one free miniature just for having a badge. For purchasing a badge, you get one free mini. If you want to come back and paint again, you can buy another miniature from them and go paint again if you wanted to. So you're not limited to just that free one, but you do have to. You're limited to one free one, and then you can buy more if you want.
And they get some sponsor stuff. Like actually, when we went, the people at Eric's Hobbies were giving out. Well, you probably can't see them, but that's all right. Scenic bases for minis. There were some other free minis. Like, hey, just give them as well as the stuff. So there's the mini that they give you, and then there's like there's a table of free stuff. You want, take it, go for it. So you can get other little bits to take home. So very cool stuff. And yeah, if you want to tag along, let me know. We'll orchestrate it. Maybe get Miss Violet to come with us again too.
That seems like the optimal way to experience this.
It's a lot of fun.
I did start a new campaign recently, so hoping I get lucky and find something that fits. If not, I don't mind just having a thing and then looking for an excuse to use it. But yeah, I guess that's kind of where my head is, board games, painting, whatever I can find. And if I feel hungry, I'd go out to, what was it, North Market, you said, that has some stuff.
There's also a food court that's attached to the
To the
that's attached to the convention center.
There's
I highly recommend chicken and egg for breakfast.
There's a lot of food options. You will not be lacking.
Okay, I will try some of your American fast foods.
Very exotic, top of the line.
What was that weird voice?
That was my Canadian accent.
I think Calvin is taking us to
No,
somewhere
it
that
was
is not
not.
Canada when we leave.
Yeah, no, that was not Canada.
I think Calvin's long con is about to pay off. We're all getting abducted. We're all
That
going
was like
somewhere.
some kind of weird Transylvanian Russian accent.
It was Boris and Natasha who go after moose and squirrel. It's on brand. Like, I'm not taking it from.
Calvin's a vampire. It all makes sense.
I don't know how, but it does.
Canadian vampire, eh? But the other thing is, especially on Wednesday, I think most of us are going to be there, so somebody can walk you down to the place where you do the scan your little QR code to get your badge and stuff. So
well, and even just to give him like a general tour of the entirety of the convention center, because I mean,
A 3-hour tour. A 3-hour...
might be a 3-mile tour of all the walking you do, but
Okay, so at least now I have like a better general idea of what I will be doing. I do want to sign up for some of the other like Pathfinder games and stuff, because I would love to get in those. It would have been cool if someone was running Lancer, but I couldn't find it. But, yeah, it's fine.
It is the one downside with Origins events, and the way it's set up is basically the GMs choose which games they want to run. And one of the things that I've noted over the past couple of years, I don't know if this is true for anybody else, I used to see a lot more different systems being run at Origins. I mean, I got introduced to things like Hollow Earth Expedition. I got introduced to Feng Shui, the Phase Rip Marvel game, all that stuff. I got introduced to those at Origins. Now, granted, not all of them were some of them were just like, hey, the GM pulled this out of their back pocket from the 80s type of thing. But it is one of the things that I've noticed in the last couple of years is you're starting to get a less of an older set of games that are being run, and more established stuff, or setting agnostic systems that allow you to kind of do anything you want with them. Like Like I'm running Castlevania in Fate. I have a friend who's running Star Wars in Fate because you can do that. It's not a problem. But for me, I'm missing some of those older game systems, or maybe it's not even the older game systems. It's like the stories that people were telling with some of those older game systems that I'm not seeing as much anymore of.
Okay, and those systems were like more specific to like certain genres or settings.
Yeah, like Hollow Earth Expeditions is very much pulp. So every game, like most of the games you're going to run in that are going to be very pulp oriented, and I don't see pulp games very much anymore. That doesn't mean they don't exist, but I don't see very many of them anymore.
Yeah, there is a lot of M&M opportunity if you do want to play Mutants and Masterminds. You can find lots of games that run with M&M.
The one that I've noticed that's just been missing for probably since 2019, so since right before the pandemic, is there's not a lot of World of Darkness.
Oh yeah, I think I've
and there
noticed
used
that
to be
too.
a shit ton of it.
Yeah,
I wonder if the new re-release is part of that, because they just did the 20th or 25th anniversary stuff where they changed them, which is good and
They
bad.
didn't. My understanding is they didn't change a lot.
They changed some. They did some heavy story editing.
you know how some gamers can be though. Like not a lot
Yeah.
not a lot is the end of the world.
No, I think you're right. I think they changed some of the meta. They didn't necessarily go in and mess with the mechanics. They changed a lot of the meta stuff.
There was some change to the rules, but yeah, the stories were heavy change. Not good.
Took the Nazi stuff out. Or put it in.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember which one it was. There was a Nazi thing.
They took it out. That was a Black Dog Publishing thing, and just weird gaming history there. I'm gonna let go out of my brain. I'll say this actually. So to cover this as briefly as possible, because it's a sensitive subject, I know for many, it was well done in the fact that they made sure to start with, this is something horrific done by man, not by monsters. We're not retelling it and blaming it on supernatural. This was a terrible time, and we think these stories should never be forgotten, so they're never repeated. And even some of the victims gave it their blessing because they treated it with a lot of respect. That being said, they also discovered there is a line in horror stories and darkness that you can sometimes cross over, and they realized this was perhaps too far in a story they should tell. So if anything, it established that not all stories need to be told, but by the same token, they did it as respectfully as anyone could.
Yeah.
So something fun. Let's move on from that. Yeah,
But no, Andy, I think.
Go ahead.
Was it Andy that brought it up, or
Yeah.
Alex that brought it up?
Andy brought
I forget
it
at this point. But no, I think you're right. There's a lot of things that you used to see a lot of that just you don't see.
Yeah. It
It
feels like it's sort of balkanized a little bit. Like there's the Cthulhu stuff, there's the organized play D&D stuff because that's always there. But I think their presence is even down a little bit.
I wouldn't say necessarily. I mean, it feels like maybe the Savage, or not the Savage Worlds,
Pathfinder?
no, Shadowrun. I'd say Shadowrun feels like it's a lot smaller.
Yeah.
But the fact that Catalyst isn't actually sponsoring the convention anymore, nor bringing anything to the dealer hall, I think that does a little bit to it. But I think Pathfinder and 5th edition Living are still relatively big.
Maybe they're just like confined to their own corner, and I never go to, so I don't have a reason to see it.
Yeah, Pathfinder does a better job of legitimately sponsored with the Pathfinder Society. They support it better, where D&D lives on in a lot of the people who've just played it forever. So you see living campaigns, but it's usually this group's. It's not
Like
under the
official-
WotC or right. And it's to be seen. I live and die by Deadlands. It's always been that one close to my heart when I became a gamer, and I think I'm the only one running it at Origins this year.
Give me that OG orange cover crunch.
100%. It is the absolute, in my personal opinion, the most thematic and flavorful character creation of any game on the market, and absolutely the most clunky and overproduced character creation of any game on the market. But I
love all of it.
Every bit of it.
Calvin,
That's
one
savage.
thing that I assumed went without saying, but turns out needed to be said, is please do not buy a ticket for the mega event.
Oh, I mean, TBH. Might have done that anyway.
If you want
More.
to, you can. You do not
Are-
need to buy a
wait,
ticket because you're.
Aren't you running a table?
Yes.
Yeah.
Calvin's not, but Alex is.
My name's
thought
on
Calvin
there.
was.
I think Calvin is running a game, actually. I think Calvin
Yeah.
is in charge of
think-
one of the games.
I think
My
He
name
he's
is on
in
there
charge of Hero
alongside
High.
Claude's, and
Yeah, I think Calvin was who we really wanted to do it because Calvin has familiarity with our setting, but we weren't positive Calvin was going to make it.
That's
You-
okay.
Claude was our backup. You're our hero of tomorrow.
I should probably show up for those meetings then.
That's probably
Yeah.
that's probably important.
Hey, there's a deadline on next week.
Next week?
There's a deadline tomorrow
tomorrow.
for some stuff.
Is there a deadline for tomorrow?
Yeah.
I thought Act 2 was.
Oh
I thought
shit! Yeah, you're right. Okay.
That's
Yep.
the face.
Yep.
Good night. Good night, everybody. Wiki's gone.
I'm pretty sure that was my idea too.
Uh-huh.
This week, to be fair, this week has gone by like
To be fair.
To be fair.
be
really
fair.
quick.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
Oh.
Because
We
I'm
have
like,
to do
did we
that.
just have that meeting yesterday?
Last week.
No, that
Last
was last
Thursday.
week. Okie dokie. Fine. It's
Yeah.
fine.
The mega event is going to be awesome. Thank you guys for. I mean, Miss Violent is going to be there, so
Fine.
thank you for signing up.
But yeah, like I was saying, like I wouldn't mind paying for the ticket just out of like support for USP, to be honest. Like that's why I use my Prime here. That's why I'm on the Patreon, because I quite like this channel and I quite
Don't-
like what everybody does here.
We call it
Don't
you.
do it for that same reason, because if you buy it, that's one less person who may not show up because it
That
will
was
sell out.
Yeah, that was one of my concerns. That's why I hadn't done it yet.
Yeah,
Because
don't.
I was
Don't
like,
do it.
If you want to buy the rest of the tickets on the day of the event.
Oh well,
Kidding.
I mean, I like
Wow.
y'all, but
He's making the trip from Toronto, Alex.
No, I'm not going to make him pay $120 in tickets. That'd be insane.
So
He's gonna have to live with the fact he's getting carried in a trunk that smells like poutine. The
Ugh.
tickets is
I mean, if it's good food,
There is no such thing.
How is my trunk going to smell like poutine? I assume he's bringing the smell in that case.
oh, then it will
Alex.
be good.
why would you say Calvin smells like poutine? That's just mean. He's a delightful person. You're over here insulting the guy.
It's not mean at all.
I
That's
think
it.
Calvin probably smells like syrup over sandpaper.
hmm Otherwise known as a honey cruller.
I think he smells like an aspen tree in Timbits.
Ooh, yeah. Let's go with that.
I think he
It's a
smells
compliment
like a
when you-
cool autumn morning.
It feels like you've done a good compliment when the person you compliment goes, "Ooh, yeah."
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish it smelled like that.
Like, okay.
No, it's gonna be a great time though. I mean, assuming we all get our prep done, the mega event will be done no matter what.
Look, the only thing I have, so anybody who's coming to be a cartoon raccoon racing cars, I'm gonna have really cool maps this year because Joe is helping me out with some large format prints for some maps. So that's gonna be really cool.
Nice.
So the only real prep I have left to do are my two M&M things. So the mega event and the Gail Simone event.
Yeah, I think all of our regular cast members are gonna be here this year,
Except for Kevin.
except for Kevin. Damn it, I forgot about Kevin.
Don't
That's
forget
all
about
right.
Kevin.
We all do.
Yeah.
You got the evil one, not the good one.
There's like several movies about that.
Somebody send out a rickshaw to go get him.
Look, I'm saying
Or
if the
whatever
show's
Did you
Amish
up-
say a rickshaw?
Yeah, whatever Amish technology he needs to get over here in time. It's time to start bringing him.
Did you say ominous or Amish?
Both.
Yes.
Those are synonyms.
He needs we need to send him a fax through his Apple II that will print out on his what were they saying? The dot matrix printers.
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
No.
I'm sending the Pony Express to get him.
It comes out of his stock ticker, or his telegraph goes off. No, if Kevin shows up, it ruins the illusion because he and I have never been seen together.
Mm.
Uh,
Oh yeah. Okay.
and Miss Violet's right. Every year, Wiki Your tables sound like they're having just the best time.
Mm-hmm.
So very much.
Well, I hope that they are having a good time. So one year I had a group that because I will let them do whatever they want because Crash Pandas is very, very much a yes and or a no, but kind of game. So one year I had a group that instead of going directly to the race, they ended up with a food truck as their racing car. And they were like, can we just be a food truck? Can we just go to the park and be a food truck? I'm like, is that what you want to do? So for like the first half, they were like, we're going to go make some money being a food truck. And it was hilarious and a ton of fun. So
If I walked up to a food truck window and a raccoon handed me an enchilada, I would assume it's the best enchilada I'm about to have in my entire life.
I mean, they know what's up.
Yeah, if they
Yeah,
hand it
was,
to you, it's the best. If they're just in there, it's a bit sketchy.
Yeah. They have to
It
hand.
might
They
be
have to give me
somehow.
change. They have to take change, and they have to hand me the food themselves.
If it just opens up and there's raccoons in there, it's the mystery hole. So we don't eat there.
What
At
is
some point
mystery
we have
hole?
got to work the mystery hole into something.
We've got to go to the mystery hole for some reason.
That's true.
What is the mystery
Calvin, we're taking a
hole?
detour before we take you home. afterwards.
Oh,
Yeah, we're gonna stop
go-
at the mystery hole.
We're
So
dipping
mystery
down to
hole.
West Virginia. It's not that far out of the way.
yeah, okay.
Yes,
As
it is.
far as I know.
It might add 3 hours to the trip. That's not that far.
The mystery hole is a relic of roadside attractions that still lives on in the hills of West Virginia.
Where's the
It
mystery
is
hole?
cheesy. It is terrible. It is absolutely a tourist trap, and it's everything I love about Americana.
I think it's in
Temporarily
the off.
closed. What the shit?
And
I think
there
it's
is a
in the-
gorilla on top.
There's
Yeah,
a grill on top.
If you scroll up in the off-topic section, Calvin, there's a picture of it.
Yeah, I saw some conversation and I was like, what is this place?
Yeah,
It advertises itself as a gravity-defying wonder.
There's a room where it's upside down. So all the
Get
furniture's on the ceiling,
out.
and yeah,
Ooh.
I'm that kind
There's
of
a-
American. I'm here.
there's the
Field
tilted
trip.
room. It's great, and there is legitimately a mystery hole. It just goes on.
Have you guys heard of Flesh Pit National Park? That's what this reminds me of.
what?
What?
No.
No.
That's the kind of videos you're not supposed to watch late at night, right?
No.
Yes.
Mystery Flesh
Yes.
Pit National Park is sort of like
Wait, did you just add mystery to the front of
He
that?
did.
That makes it
He
worse.
did. He did.
Makes
He
it work.
100% did.
Yep.
Yep.
Mhm.
Flesh Pit National Park.
Night
is
Vale. It's like
frightening.
Night Vale.
Mystery Flesh Pit is
Stop while you're ahead, Alex.
No, dig up.
I'm digging down. I'm going into the Mystery Flesh Pit, and nobody can stop me.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds like a really, really, really kinky,
Mm,
like, glory hole.
nope, we're done.
Good night, everybody.
Welcome to the Flesh Pit.
Oh my God.
That's where GMs go to die.
Yeah, I've only ever seen like parodies of these sort of tourist trap things. I've never been to one. I don't go a lot of places very clearly.
I
Last-
lied, Calvin. It will add 8 hours to our trip. But
Oh, okay.
I'm here. Let's go.
But it's the best 8 hours you're ever gonna have.
Not if it's closed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, look at the door of the mystery hole. That's not going to stop anybody. A raccoon, a person, a well-meaning Canadian. We
Obviously,
can
there's
get
a
through
gorilla
this.
on the roof that nobody's done anything
Yeah.
about.
We can make this happen.
Yeah, like the last long drive I was on was maybe like 2 to 3 hours. No, gotta be less than 3.
Oh no.
To a friend's wedding.
Jupe's here in time for the Flesh Pit. Sorry, Jupe.
Bless it.
I wonder what my friends are talking about. So, Mystery Flesh Pit National Park.
It's a national park. It's a goddamn treasure. Teddy Roosevelt settled that shit.
Well, I no longer wonder about my friends. I wonder who's going to be my new friends because I lost a group today.
Look, when you try
Tell
your
'em,
best and
Jupe.
you don't succeed.
You said it. You aren't sorry. You know it.
Oh Lord.
Alright.
What was I saying? But yeah, no, I was just saying, like, I haven't been on I haven't been on a plane in a long time. I haven't been on a long trip in a long time. The longest trip I was on was, oh gosh, when was that? I mean, I should probably remember when my friends get married, but it was a while ago.
4th grade when you went to Barbados.
Yeah, that was the last plane trip I was on.
That wedding was
and
lit.
then mid 2010s was a very relatively short road trip. So yeah, I guess there's going to be a lot of new experiences.
Sounds
Oh,
like
it was in London, Ontario.
Hmm.
Since Stroop was asking. That was the one with the poutine bar, which I think I've talked about here before.
I need to go.
Yeah, I mean, it felt far. But yeah, it was the longest trip I had been on.
Well, I'm glad
Even
you're
though it's
coming
like a
down here
couple
and you're
hours.
doing all these new things. You know, you picked a good group of people to come do them with, I think.
Okay.
Especially when we
that's-
kidnap you and take you to the mystery hall.
Oh boy. Anything else we can stuff your brain with, full of facts, Calvin?
Because sometime during the weekend, I'm going to stuff your belly with bread, meat, cheese, and it's all going to be fried in this gloopy mess. It's going to be delicious.
I mean, again, I do want you to try some of the
That just
local
made me so
cuisine.
happy.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a place called Mikey's Late Night Slice that is pretty good pizza too. I like there.
I do have to figure out since it's coming up in chat, I do have to figure out what the method of transport is. I mean, the road tripping thing does sound pretty fun, as long as it's not inconvenient to do.
It's
I was gonna say,
you are not far from me. It is not inconvenient for me at all.
Okay,
so I know of 3 different ways that you can get here, Calvin. Obviously, plane is one. You could take the train from Toronto to Detroit, which isn't Detroit, it's the other side of the river, which I forget.
Well, Brownstown Charter Township, I think. Brownstown.
No.
West Detroit.
West Detroit.
No, it would be
8 Mile.
It's east.
East.
I mean, I forget what the name of the town is because it's the Canadian side of the.
Is it Windsor?
Yeah, it's Windsor.
Windsor.
So if you because there's a train that runs from Windsor to Toronto. I just don't know when it would arrive. And then you could get picked up there and brought down, or Alex can drive to.
Yeah, I'll go wherever. I mean,
Buffalo.
I am free that whole week before Origins. Free in big air quotes. I'll be scrambling to finish my prep, but free.
I mean, as long as it's not like interrupting your prep, because that does sound like a more fun option.
No, I'll get it done. I think it would be fun. I need to find out how to cross the border just to pick somebody up. That feels like human smuggling, right?
I mean, if you put him in the trunk, yes. If you put him in the front seat, possibly.
It depends.
Yeah, I feel like travel stuff we could figure out
Yeah.
off air, but
Yeah, but those are the 3 ways that I know for certain because I took the train from Windsor to Toronto one year because my family and I went to Toronto to see Phantom of the Opera. So
Yeah, I've been to Toronto before also, and I did not need a passport to go to Toronto.
I think that's changed though.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it was after 9/11, so it was when the border was crazy. But I was on a bus going with a high school trip, so I don't know. We'll figure it out. I would love to come up there and pick you up and bring you down. I think that would be a ton of fun.
yeah, I just got to figure out like the optimal way to do that.
Yeah, Deuce can come up and meet me, and we can drive up together. It'd be a whole USP road trip. We could record it.
Hell yeah, road tripping for content.
I'm 100% a lover of road trips. I think the old-fashioned coast to coast Route 66, America on wheels. I am that kind of pushover.
Mhm.
I adore seeing the world pass by through a window. I think it's great.
Well,
And having people with you makes it even better.
Deuce and I were from the same holler, where every road is better than where we're from. We crawled out of the same hole.
Yep.
In Appalachia.
Same hauler, wrong hovel.
Right. No, I love a good road trip though. I think it would be, if we could make the date work, I think that'd be a ton of fun.
Mm.
Same flesh pit, Miss Violent Violet says we crawled out.
Nope,
Nope.
don't like it.
Bad mouthfeel.
Do not like it.
Yeah, but it's gonna be a ton of fun. I mean, I can't wait. I really want to have my prep done before June, so I don't even have to worry about it.
2 weeks.
I'm actually on track, sort of, other than the mega event stuff.
2 weeks, get her done.
Yeah, but I counted. I have 9 events that I'm running.
Yeah,
including the mega event.
8 on your own and 1 shared with a bunch of other people.
One big old thing.
So
Oh.
Yeah, it's gonna be good though. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Miss Violent Violet's gonna be in my wife's event. Liz is running a Quantum Black game, which is a sort of X-File, like a corporate X-Files system. It's pretty cool.
That sounds neat.
Actually, that's a good question for anyone watching on it. What other events, even if you're not in them, really caught your eye? And the one I'll kind of lead with, because I'm just that when I got the story of it, it made me smile and enjoy, was and Puppy doing the Great British Bake Off event is amusing to me in so many levels. And then I found out there was another which blew my mind. But yeah, as obviously an enjoyer of food of many facets, I was like, this sounds like a great idea, and I'm encouraging it so much. But what other events have other people seen that really is like, that sounds really cool?
So I get to play in one of them. I did sign up for it. Hopefully it runs because the last I checked, it wasn't a full table yet. But there is a person running a game, and the title of there's 3 games of it. The title of the game is Hollow-matics, and it sounds a little bit like Gem and the Holograms meets the group that did The Night Begins to Shine from Teen Titans Go. That's the vibe that I'm getting from that from the selling point of the game. So I'm looking forward to trying that out.
That sounds crazy, and I'm here for it. I am in a couple games this year. I did manage to find some time to actually sign up for a couple things.
Gasp.
But I am trying to remember which games I signed up for. I know one thing I'm very excited about. Andy and I have a friend named Christina who runs a game that she made up the system for, and she has her own world, and that's really cool. And I've never got to play a session of it, and I do get to join in on a session of that while it's in a private game back in the hotel. I think that's gonna be a ton of fun. And I am signed up for one of Claude's games. I'm gonna show up and bug him. It's gonna be. Which one was it though? I think Rent-A-Capes I signed up for. Yes, I signed up for a game called Rent-A-Capes, where the heroes of Emerald City are needed elsewhere, and they hire a bargain bin hero team to hold down the fort in their absence. And I am so here to be a bargain bin hero. And to tout our thing, I think the mega event's going to be even bigger and better this year than it was last year, and it was really good last year.
I don't think I got into much of what I was wanting to get into because there was the whole thing. But like there were a couple of Avatar games that sounded pretty cool. Using the Avatar, The Last Airbender system. And there was a like Justice League Beyond and a Suicide Squad game.
I know the person who's running both of those.
Yeah, I didn't get into either of those.
Yeah, those are very quick sellouts.
Oh yeah.
No fucking kidding.
There was a Galaxy Quest game that
Ah.
sounded like fun.
Yep, that one I missed out on.
Pigs in Space sounded like fun.
Pigs in space.
Yeah, no, that's what it was.
That's amazing.
And then Ninth Level was running some of their, I think they were only doing it once though, was running one of their new Kickstarted games called Pigeons 11. Which is exactly what it sounds like.
Ocean's 11 with pigeons.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
You're a pigeon, you're a crook.
Yep, you're a pigeon criminal who's trying to do pigeon criminal stuff.
Pigeon crimes.
That's right.
We investigate their stories. Law and Order, PGU.
And then most of the other things I was interested in are miniatures related, and I got into a bunch of those. So,
did you get into Smurf Wars? Is that happening still?
no.
Oh my god! How dare
I
they?
didn't manage to get a single Smurf Wars or Smurf Battle, and it is hurting me in my soul.
You've done it. I mean, you've done it like all the time, right? Just go over and be like, "Hey."
Yes.
Yeah.
Every year.
Just be like, you know me. Let me in.
So it hurts me in my squishy place. The one feeling I have is hurt.
All I have is hurt. I'm really excited that we're all going to be in one place together. I think it's going to be, I feel like there's going to be big summer camp energy. Like that's the energy I'm bringing with me. And it'll be cool to hang out with Joe and Aunt Puppy and Brandon and all of our friends from far away who we don't get to see on a regular basis.
Woo! I got my background characters done for the mega event. Yeah.
You were working? How dare you?
Dude it. I don't want Aaron to yell at me, and as much as I really want to hear the pithy backgrounds that he would write, and I kind of just want to ask him to do it anyway. I kind of want to do it anyway. I also want to go, all right, here's my work, teach.
Sorry. Oh, Aunt Puppy's great USP Bake Off sold out finally. We had one ticket available this morning.
Excellent.
There are 3 people with the same last name, so
family affair.
I keep looking at the fact that my Gail Simone game is not only sold out, but there's enough people on the wait list to refill the table.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of freaking me out a little.
It's gonna be a great game. You know, I if I was free, I would want to sign up for that.
If you're here and you signed up for that, just keep in mind that it was not intended to be a serious superhero game. It is shenanigans and shenanigans.
Isn't Deadpool in charge? I feel like that's implied.
Yes, Deadpool is in charge.
That'll do it.
What about you, Calvin? What have you seen that you've signed up for that you're excited about?
Oh, I got blasted by decision paralysis the moment I saw that list of events, dog. I could not have invested enough energy to read everything to see what to get into. I was kind of just like, let me sign up for some things where I know people, and then maybe I guess I'll wing it.
It's a viable strategy. You can ask Miss Violet. And one of my favorite things to do is not sign up for crap and just float and see where you end up. You run into some great things. Friends or people you know go, hey man, why don't you come try this? And you go, well, I have nothing scheduled, so why the heck not? Let's see what happens. It's a great way to be.
That's kind of what, at this point, that's kind of what I think will happen. And then maybe next time I'll be a little more organized. But for now, I'm just hoping to hit some stuff that people I know are running, hit either a Pathfinder or a Starfinder game, hit the minis painting, and then hang out with board games in between.
There you go. That sounds like a viable first convention.
That's a great plan. What about you, Andy?
What?
What
terms of-
what have you signed up for that you're excited about?
Oh, what have I signed up for? Oh, the Holomatics game. I did sign up for that.
Hmm.
I do have the game that I wanted that was number one on my list that I tried every time the system would let me do it in the first 20 minutes to see if just to make sure I could get it and that I wasn't sure I was going to get it, but then I ended up having a ticket in my cart for it was the Saturday morning supervillain Suicide Squad game that is basically it's Saturday night at 7 o'clock. It's Rich Downey from AB Games. I'm gonna get to play like if it's anything like the one game I played a couple of years ago with him, I might get to play the Monarch from Venture
Oh.
Brothers again.
Wow.
It's that kind of game.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Andy excited about a Suicide Squad game. Tell me more.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Like, if I the year PETA and I played in it, the bad guys were that you could choose from were Boris and Natasha,
Oh my god.
Soundwave,
As one character or as
Nope,
two
two.
characters? Okay.
one Boris, one Natasha, Soundwave,
Mm.
the Monarch from Venture Brothers, and a couple of other like random Saturday morning ones, and it was just a blast. It was a lot of fun. And I saw he was running a game similar to it this year, and I'm like, I have to get in that one because I didn't get into any of his last year.
That's awesome.
And so like that one, it's on my list. It has to be the first one. If I don't get in, I'll find something else. But if I can try my level best to get that seat, I will get it. And I managed it. So
Yeah.
Was that
Andy
the
and I don't
only
get to
one-
play together very often at cons, but we did at Matinee Con, and I had a great time.
yes.
So was that the only one when Alex said that just heard a musical number like, tell me more till you get a death ray? I couldn't unhear it.
Yeah. But
That's because
It's
it was
definitely-
intended. That was an intended effect.
it's definitely the not so serious Suicide Squad
Hmm.
type of game. So that's why I'm excited for it.
That's awesome.
I think it's done in Savage Worlds too. I think that's what he's made the characters in. So
Good system. Fast, furious, fun. Tagline, trademark.
Package it. Send it.
so
What about Miss Violet? Violet, what are you signed up for that you're excited about? And Jupe, are you excited that you're coming anyway, even though you have school?
Jupe say they were going to be in Vegas.
Yeah, in Vegas during Origins. Are you going to Vegas for school, or are you going to Vegas for something fun?
Mommy's got to make that money.
I almost got to go to Vegas. I still might, but the karaoke competition on Monday did not go as intended. Gnomesteaders.
Oh,
One
yeah.
of the games that Joe's
That's
running.
Joe's game. I got into that too.
Yeah, all of the games Joe picked, I'm like, these all sound really awesome, and I hate that I don't have time to play all of them.
Do you know how you would have time to play more of them?
I suspect if I ran less games.
That's it.
One year I will. I'm trying to be reckless and bad to myself while I'm able to, and then when I can't, I won't. But
How viable that plan is.
I also
It's not.
I've worked so the last few years have been the years that I've been with Green Ronin at the convention, and I only ran a few events the last few years. I think I ran 4 last year and the mega event because I left time in my schedule to work in the booth. But I've found at Origins the best thing I can do to get people to buy Mutants and Masterminds is run Mutants and Masterminds games. Because generally when I'm standing in the booth, it's really hard to get anybody to come up and talk to you about a new RPG. But when I'm running a game, they show up, they have a really good time, and then the sales funnel is usually they had a good time and then they go buy a book. And one of the unfortunate realities of being in the industries. I've got to participate in a way that helps make money for the game that we sell.
I mean, it's not unfortunate because you have a good product, a good system.
Yeah.
Obviously, or all of us wouldn't be hanging around as much.
Yeah, no, it's a, it's, I wouldn't do it if I didn't love it. And I think one of the things I need to do next year is plan a convention that is just for me to have a good time and not have responsibilities. But Origins, and I really want Origins to be sort of our big show for USP because most of us live here. It's relatively easy for the people who don't live here to get here comparatively. And I don't know, I like that people are starting to come for our games, and I think that's really special.
Yeah, so anyone taking time out of their day to spend with you is a compliment and one that is very well received.
Yeah, I need to get everybody the list of who's playing in their games, but as I've gone through it, I've seen a lot of familiar faces, or familiar names at least. If I don't remember who they are, I do remember their name from last year. Especially the Mega event has a lot of repeat people from last year.
That's a very good sign.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, even at UConn, I had a guy come up to me and he was like, that was like the best multiplayer event I've ever been a part of. And I was like, I don't know who you are, but I'm glad you had a good time.
Well, thank you.
And this year I actually have a friend coming in from out of town who I haven't seen, I think, since 2014 at Origins. He's finally making the trek back up here from South Carolina, so I'm excited to hang out with him a little bit too.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I just noticed the merch store has a sale going on apparently, so I'm gonna get myself a couple of things.
We have a sale?
I mean, never mind.
That feels like that feels
would
like
be
something
nice
I
if
should have
they let
received
us
an email
know.
about.
Yeah.
It might just be it might just be a T Public thing then.
Let me look.
I mean, even if it is just a Public thing, they should let us know so that we can let other people know.
Yeah, up to 35% off site-wide for t-shirts.
And to be fair, if you show up to one of our games with a shirt that says "What voice," you automatically get first pick. So
Calvin's about to buy a what voice shirt for every day of the week.
I do already have the one.
that takes care of Wednesday. What about Thursday and Friday?
How many USP shirts do I have? I think I have a What Voice shirt, and then I got the logo shirt in white and blue. Oh no, I have one of the Sophie shirts that I can't wear anywhere else because it makes no sense.
Who says your shirts have to make sense? You wear it and somebody's like, what's wrong with Sophie's? And you explain.
Tune in on Wednesdays to find out.
They're the worst, actually.
Yeah.
We need to get some more shirt designs, I think. I think some Gemstar stuff would be really cool.
The Gemstars logo on a shirt would slap.
I really want merch for the book series that Ruby likes.
Oh, Shining Justice.
Shining Justice, that's what it is.
So, Calvin, you missed something in the dark last week, right?
Yeah.
So just to make you chuckle, because it made me chuckle, the question of the day is, your character could end up in a different campaign until Sword Project. Which one would it be? And of course, my answer was obviously I would go to the Chip Stars, so I could end up, in the words of the 1990s alt rock band, that show's got the boom anime babes that make me think the wrong thing.
I miss Gemstars. I miss Starhaven. I miss everything that I'm not actively playing. Yeah, I I don't know. I feel at least that I have like a game plan now, so I'm glad we had this chat.
There you go.
Yeah.
And 100%, I am the most friendly dude out there. So you want to cling on, pick an arm, buddy. We're going to go to town.
That's probably going to be a lot of it.
I fully expect frolicking when I'm not around, when I'm not paying attention. I'll just see it out of the corner of my eye.
Are these two skipping? Yeah, what about it? Just making sure.
Let them have a good time.
I I don't know if you've seen that particular Simpsons episode where it has like Homer and Lisa and Bart, and they're like skipping by a window and Marge is watching. They're like just skipping back and forth, and then they're going back and forth, and then one time Homer's carrying Bart and Lisa, and then they come back, and then Bart's carrying Homer and Lisa. I'm kind of picturing that.
I could see it.
I'm on board for it.
All right. Well, it was a good talk, Alex.
Yeah, I'm glad we did this. I think it was, it wasn't a regular game, but I think there's some good advice here. There's good, just general convention advice. And I'm so excited. I can't wait. The next 4 weeks is going to be too fast and too slow at the same time. Especially if I miss my 2-week deadline. But if Deuce comes up, he can drive while I prep in the car.
It sounds legit.
Now, a lot of my prep is, fortunately, I'm running some repeat events from last year's convention season, and I have a lot of events that I already have the characters for, so I'm doing a lot of just adventure design stuff and not like tedious data entry. I need to make this character sheet stuff. So I'm doing a lot of fun creative work instead of shitty creative work. Yeah.
Necessary back-end work.
Yeah.
Which is a little secret to running a ongoing series of games at a con. If you make the characters once and then keep running it through different stuff, all you got to do is write the story. The characters are done.
That is why my con event database is color coordinated by player characters. Not that I pull too many repeats out year to year, but
Like, is it easier to create the scenario than to create the characters because it's less
It
paperwork?
No, not necessarily.
Depends.
If you are a stickler for what the character is and how they do their things, it can be very challenging to put a character together, depending on what system you chose to put them into. Case in point, my Castlevania characters took me 3 hours to go through Saturday to put stunts down for them, since they're all being run in Fate. And I was only putting 3 stunts per character. So that, it's only a half hour per character, but it's still, it's a long time to be sitting there making a character when I already had the story and everything else written in like an hour prior to doing that.
do you want to know the most annoying version of this, and is probably just a me problem? Realizing I already have the characters designed, and then I look at the character sheets and I'm like, nah, I can do this different. I don't like the way this is built. I'm gonna move these points around. I'm just gonna fiddle with this. Gonna add.
But like, I guess, is it easier to just use characters in different scenarios versus using the same scenario but making up new characters for it?
Theoretically, yes. If you're not me.
I have done 3 scenarios with the same characters. It has been far easier to build the scenarios for those characters than thinking about making that scenario for a whole different set of characters.
I like
I think
having
it also depends
group.
on what system you're using.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, M&M, it can be irritating making new characters each time because of the character creation system. Like, I've run 8 different Harley Quinn animated series adventures, and I have not used the same character sheets for the player characters ever.
I really like thinking of it as, in a way, a campaign. So if you have those characters made and you like that group, it's just coming back to them you later and going, oh yeah, these guys were good. Let's put them in a different situation and kind of see how they fare. But there's some people that just love making characters, in which case it's crack them out and go, this will be neat. okay, I need to put them somewhere and do something with them. So there's not a right answer. I think just depends on how you like to, what inspiration takes you and how you want to make your game.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of revisiting the same superhero teams in different situations. Like I run a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy games, and I don't mess with their sheets too much in between sessions or in between designs. And then it does feel like I've done at least a good part of the work before I even sit down to start designing the event. Yeah, I guess it just depends on how you feel about making characters.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering like what would end up being more complex, the characters and scenarios, but I think like he was saying, it's probably more dependent on the system for that.
Yeah, and I think one of the things to keep in mind when you're designing a scenario that I don't keep in mind enough is that you should probably design something more simple than you think. Less scenes, less branches, and make sure that less is more with adventure design. Especially if you're good at improvising.
For a one shot.
Yeah, especially a convention one shot where you don't know if the people are going to be able to hang out, later than the 4-hour slot, and you shouldn't want to hang out longer than the 4-hour slot anyway.
Well, and then then there were the years that Alex and I both decided that characters were prominent pieces and the players needed to have options upon options to choose from. Alex went 3 times as large as I did because he did 65 DC characters for.
Here's the whole year. Justice League. Who do you want to be?
And you mad lad.
I had Blue Devil. I had Shining Knight.
He did all of it.
And Fire.
And then
Hawk and Dove.
I had my Cartoon Universe game, which was in Fate, and it was a simplified version of Fate. So they were a little bit easier to put together, but I had 20 cartoon characters from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s for people to choose from. And then I wondered why. It's like, oh, these characters never saw any play. It's like because people had other choices that they wanted to pull from.
One thing I really do kind of like is when you do original characters, if for something that's not as well known, seeing what characters people gravitate towards. An example I'll throw in there is actually the Titan City group put together with Cressida. MVP, everyone loved her every single game. And I don't think she would have been the one I picked out of the lineup to go, that's going to be the fan favorite, but she absolutely was. I just enjoy seeing that some characters people gravitate towards, some certain people gravitate towards. It's just a neat little thing you kind of start to see if you bring it back out again and again and let other groups play them, where those parallels and those divergent pieces come off.
Yeah, when you're new at a convention running games, you don't have a stable of players who keep coming back to see you yet, so you do wind up with a lot of unique encounters. Like you get to experience the whole gamut of what kind of player characters there are. So actors, fighters, rules lawyers, that asshole who sat down and said, "Hey, Sam Wilson's here. Can we kill him first? Fake Captain America?" And I was like, "Come on, man. Really? We're not starting off our game that way." That's the other thing. That's other advice.
That's where
is
you're
don't
much
be afraid.
nicer than me, because I would have been like, no, but we can start with you leaving my table.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to be confrontational if somebody is being a dick. Is advice I should take myself that I will give to you. I talked about this the other day, but I think there's this idea that bad gaming is better than no gaming, and I just don't think that's true anymore.
Yeah, no. No gaming is better than bad gaming.
Yeah, and this is a vacation.
That's the way
for
I
you.
heard it.
Even if you're working, even if you're here volunteering, working, running games, it's still, you're supposed to be having a good time.
I gotta let work know I'm gonna be out though.
Yeah, you should probably do that.
Yeah, kind of. You probably need to also know what your travel plan is going to be, so you know which days you're going to be out for.
Just tell me you're not coming back.
It's just the small things you should probably.
Just chilling out.
You guys have doctor notes up there? Doctor's notes in Canada, is that a thing?
I can get you one for my office.
Do-
Like, what were you
Do
doing in
you
West
think
Virginia?
they
So you
don't
missed
have
it all.
positions in Canada?
No, I think they've got universal health care and they don't need to report that they went to the doctor like we do. It's because we're wage slaves.
I'm okay. I get it.
Well,
get
yeah, I
it.
mean, we gotta let people know.
I think
that
you
we're
could just
not
be
gonna
like, I'm going to the doctor, and your boss is fine with it in Canada, is what I assume.
Yeah, we gotta give people a heads up at the.
But I do have
very
Photoshop and a template for a doctor's note if you need one.
No, I've got
Okay,
legit doctor's excuses. I'll get one for my office. You'll be fine.
That's
least.
right.
Okay, then I'm covered.
Yeah. Just be prepared for the explanation of why you're coming to see an American doctor instead of getting free health care.
Because you don't have a mystery hole in Canada. That's why. No, shut up.
Reasons. Yeah, no, I
I
do
wanted to see
kinda
what
wanna-
bankruptcy was like.
Oh man,
Oof.
Oof is right.
I am kind of curious about like GMing for con games because I know Alex, we had a conversation on the podcast a while ago, but it was pretty brief when we talked about it because we mostly started talking about we mostly did like that scenario generation thing, and then we were talking about what was it, Dr. Dracula and all this
Yes.
stuff,
Oh my god.
all that other crap.
We got to
But
design adventures with public domain supervillains. It was a ton of fun.
I do want to have like I think I'd mentioned this last year and I just never got around to it, but I kind of wanted to have like everybody who was GMing stuff on the podcast so we could just like get into conversations about how did this happen? How did you make this work?
Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
Maybe this
And
year or last, yeah.
You have a plethora of people who are experienced convention GMs right here at your fingertips.
It's true.
And make friends, be friendly. Because one other thing that can happen is you may get a GM in a game that's not quite great, in which case you get to make your own fun. Another example is Miss Violet. Violet and I ran across a game called Ghost Wrestling, which was like the ghost hunters that you find versus MMA in a way. Like their job was to go find the ghost and then you beat them into submission. Sure. It
Ghost
sounded
wrestling.
cheesy. It was called Ghost Wrestling. So we thought, yeah, we'll give it a shot. So we show up. The GM, he was a nice enough guy, but he was kind of reserved, kind of checked out. So we just made our own fun. Yeah, and the whole table was laughing. You could tell the guy at first was maybe wanted to be a little more serious, and then by the end he's like, whatever, you guys. He was laughing too, and everyone's just having a great time, joking around, wrestling ghosts. Sometimes you just let's be a little silly. And
How are you
enjoy
going to put a game called Ghost Wrestling on the schedule and then expect it to be serious when the people show up?
Yeah,
You
that's a little
know.
strange.
it. It was a thing.
You
The
have
other
come
weird
here for
thing
my
was,
magnum opus, Ghost Wrestling.
The other odd part was he had his hero points for that game was candy, which is cool. Except he didn't tell us that, so he handed out
So
candy.
you
Well,
ate
the
your
guy,
hero points?
I did, but one other gentleman did. He went, "If you need your Benny, just give him back to me." The guy looks like in his mouth, like,
It's like, nope, not doing that anymore.
like, well, that's good. And yes, the weird
Yeah,
part
no.
was the fact that Ms. Violet and I both made fashion designers as our characters, so that was a thing.
Now, if you're gonna give out, if you're gonna give out candy, you're not getting that back.
That's a good etiquette thing, though. Ask the GM what materials they want back that they hand out for the game. So if the character sheet is yours to keep, ask that before you start writing on it.
Right.
Because some people will give out character sheets because they don't want them back because it's a lot of extra paper, or they want you to have a souvenir from the game. But some GMs are like, I only printed one copy of my character sheets, and I've got to run this game 10 times. Please give it back to me.
So should I bring because you mentioned that you have index cards, should I just bring like
Yeah.
extra
A notebook,
paper or
index
something?
cards, something to take notes. Because I know you like taking notes.
Yeah, I have. Get out of here! I have my little.
I like
planner
taking notes
thing
too. I'm a note taker.
That I was planning to bring because it'll let me do some schedule stuff. But I could also just bring like a small. I don't want to bring like a big notebook because I want to save space for stuff. But
Wiki always has a good journal.
yeah,
You can lick the sheet. Very rare for them to want it back after. So
I've
that's
laid
fine.
claim to it. It's fine.
that I
I
could
mean,
pick up
this
a
is
decent journal.
my little notebook from, and I have a folder somewhere with all of my. Oh, here is my character from Great British Bake Off yet last year.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
fun.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
another thing.
so-
Some events will have you make your character before the game starts, and some events will have characters for you to play, or they'll expect you to bring your character before the game starts.
Most of them that will have you make it, they will talk you through it. They don't just go, "All right, make a character. Good luck." At
Yeah.
least
Yeah,
A
they're
decent
usually
one will go.
very light systems that call for that. Things that are like a lot of Powered by the Apocalypse games let you make your character at the start of the event.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. I again, I'm gonna have to listen back to this stream and just make notes of everything because I haven't written anything down.
Yeah, and feel free to text if you have anything, if you need anything. I mean, we'll have to figure out traveling, so text me anyway.
just text
Even
him
if
and
you
say
don't have
hi.
questions.
He misses you. Keep in touch.
I told Andy this before you got on, Calvin, but you get to see an old friend next time we get together for Freedom Week Dark.
That sounds like a threat.
It's a threat. It's totally a threat.
It's a threat and a promise.
Whomst could it be?
It's a thromus.
Oh no.
Whomst
Alex
indeed.
Thomas.
And Alex Thromus. Give yourself a hero point. Get yourself something nice with it.
Barovia Arctic Fox.
All right, that's coming right up.
Oh, oh no.
That's what you wanted.
No,
That's not
Fell
what I
into
was going to
that.
give you, but if that's what you want.
He fell into that ancient trap. You gave him an answer. He went, "Okay, you called it." He had nothing in mind. He was like, "Let's just see what he wants. What's going to mess with him. Let him choose
Sophie
his own
was
bullet."
already there, so
He's just handing the toddler the gun and going, "See if he shoots himself."
no.
found at least part of my stuff from last year.
That was so much fun. So they gave us a blank sheet so we could draw the map, and you could just
As we
draw a squiggly line and write, "This is the house," or "This is." But no, I was like, "Give it to me," and we started. So we illustrated every stop along the way. Like the guy running was like, "What are you doing?" And went, "Well, we're at whichever one. Like we're at Lovers Lane." So we drew like the car and the other car, the city. Like we were just colored them out, and then when we finished that scene, we passed it to someone else, and they started drawing the house.
I mean, there were crayons on the table. What
Yeah.
else were we supposed to do?
And that was my 6-armed monster kobold that was way too powerful, but the GM thought it was funny.
Here's all the kobolds that died while I was
So many.
Many Bothans
those were
died
just
to
the
bring us
ones
this
I
excitement.
played. Those were just the ones I played.
Yeah.
If you get a chance to go to the Midnight Massacre, you should definitely go. It's something that I discovered like the second or third year that I went to Origins, and I absolutely play this game every year game. Like it is the one thing that I'm going to, even if I have to murder someone to get there.
Will's here. Calvin, Will's in chat.
Yeah, I saw.
Hi, Will. How are you? Congratulations. He got married.
Oh,
Good on you. Congratulations.
And their hashtag was the best one ever. It was the way you macking me feel. The way you macking me feel. It's great.
it's very cute. Oh man, now I miss Fallout too.
I always miss Fallout. After watching the show, I missed Fallout hard.
That hurt me that there was none at Origins. I was looking.
It's because I'm not running any. I don't know if anybody else. I know I've run Fallout in the past. I don't know if I've seen anybody else run Fallout at Origins.
I think we'll see those next year.
Yeah, probably.
Like this might have been too soon.
Mm-hmm.
It
Well,
was
Yeah.
there was one
absolutely
last
would've been
year and
too
the year
soon.
before. Just this year, for some reason, there was none.
Mm.
It was weird.
But didn't they just
the
really
series
recently release an actual Fallout?
Yeah,
System?
the 2D20 system.
That's been out for a couple of years now, actually. The Modiphius one.
Has it?
Yeah, I think it was it was right after our Fallout show because fuck me, Modifius said. when they're like, "How I saw that you made a whole series based on this minis game, but what if you wanted a real RPG instead, Alex?" After it's over, great.
Yeah.
Not that it's over. We got to get back in the vault. And we got to stop that lady from ruining whatever she's going to ruin. He said, remembering his adventure notes. Yeah, Miss Violet, that was right before. It was a little bit before Origins that we met you guys.
So the fall of what, 21?
I think so. It was one of the early things we did. It was like what I did after Titan City, I think.
Yeah, because that was around the start of Nether.
It was before Nether.
Yeah,
War,
it was right before. I think it was the January, February, right before Nether War, I think.
That sounds right.
Because
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure the holiday before that, I wasn't in it yet, but I was in Andy's cartoon crossover game.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the first thing I was on.
It was just post-COVID where we met you guys, or I met you guys, and Miss Violet met you guys. And the next year came back, and you're like, "Oh, this guy's hanging around. We better do something with him. His jokes are terrible, but fuck it."
It is on YouTube, I'm pretty sure. Let me go double check. That was also a little bit before my time being in charge of making the YouTubes happen. So
Man,
there was a little bit of a drop off between videos getting put and videos not getting put up.
Pretty sure that's on YouTube.
But I'm pretty. I think Fallout is on there. Let me go double check.
That was a well-telegraphed sneeze. I had time to stop, mute the stream, and sneeze and unmute it. It was great.
Hey,
Nice.
has anybody checked in on YouTube? Tooz?
Yep, been on the whole time.
Has anybody been over there?
Oh, nope.
Oh, that's fine.
It's just me, my private kingdom, my own mystery hole.
My own mystery hole.
Well, I do need to head off, Alex.
Yeah, it's getting to be about that time. It's about time to be hitting that old dusty trail. said Andy.
Andy's like, nope, I'm had enough.
Andy is
That's it.
doing the sharp smack on the thighs. Party's over.
Midwest goodbye. No, it's like I got a cat to med and some other stuff to do
Well.
tonight. So
Going to be early soon for the old flesh pit, so gotta get up there.
oh man.
Not the old flesh pits.
Mm.
It's just getting
No.
worse.
It really is. The
Yeah.
old mystery flesh pit.
No mystery.
No,
flesh
no
pit.
more. No more.
Did
We're
I?
good with that.
I have noticed since I did open up the YouTube, I've noticed that the USP channel is almost at 500 subscribers.
We're real close.
498.
We're one off. We're looking for
We'll get
one more.
499.
And then we're looking for 500 more. So if you have 500 friends, please go tell them we're here.
I mean, you can at least hook up the merch store. Well, actually, I don't know the channel's watch hours, but I assume it's enough. But at 500, you can connect the merch store to. That's a whole other thing.
Well, hey, Cortez, welcome.
Man, look at us.
Cortez
We're
over here listening on
babies.
YouTube.
Look
We're
at
just saying
us.
hello.
I'm dropping I found the video. I'm putting the link in chat. 3 years ago, we did Fallout. Episode 1 ain't that a kick in the head. I shared the link over here in Twitch chat. We're wee little babies. Calvin and Kat and Brian and Will and me being a problem. But how's that different from normal?
I mean, I wasn't going to say anything.
I know my lane. I know where I live. I've accepted my heinousness. I'm looking to see how many episodes we had. I thought I made a playlist for this, but I can't seem to find it in our YouTube archive.
There's a playlist for Fallout. I'll post the link to it.
Out of the way, I got this.
Someone said, move over, eh?
Let me
Pardon
just
me while I
scooch,
show you
let me
how
just
it's
scooch
done.
past you there.
I have said that word for word.
Scooch.
Yeah. Do y'all not use Scooch?
I'm all over Scooch. I'm here for you.
Actually, I'm gonna sneak by you down here. That's one of our big things. Is let me just sneak
Yep.
by you real quick. I'm on my way to the ranch dressing.
Oh, No ranch
I'm
dressing.
just waiting for Andy to just be like, leave.
I'm about to. I gotta get out of here.
I
We
can't do
love
it.
you, Andy.
I know.
There's
I got
26 videos in the Fallout playlist. I found the playlist.
13 episodes total.
Yeah, 13 streams, but 26 YouTube episodes.
Yep.
That was one of the times I did most. Well, at least until about halfway through, I did like custom thumbnails. Then I realized maybe using Bethesda artwork in my thumbnails was not a good idea.
50-50. They got worse things to worry about, like Starfield.
Yeah,
Sorry.
they're coming for us.
Not monetizing the thumbnail.
It
It's
just
not
works.
monetizing a thumbnail.
Yeah, that was pretty close to when Kat started on the channel full time, I think.
Because Nether War, you asked her to come on for Nether War, and then we kidnapped her.
I asked Kat to come on for 2 weeks to Nether War.
It's been a long 2 weeks.
I was like, can you
it's been a
just
very
fill
long
in
2
real
weeks.
quick while I think about what to do to replace this person? And the cat was like, I'm here forever, actually.
I moved in now. That's my stuff. That's my corner. I cleaned it.
That's mine. Don't touch it.
Calvin's too polite to say no. Alex is too scared to say no, and Andy kind of liked
I'm
her.
not
so
telling
it
no
worked.
to Cat about anything. Are you crazy?
Exactly. See?
I choose life every day.
Hey, I do know how I'm gonna die now, though. She posted that on her Facebook. When I'm ready to go, that's how I'm gonna do it.
I want to ask, but I'm happy with the mystery.
We
Oh,
did
I'll-
have
I'll-
we had a reunion for Fallout too. We had we played a one shot checking up with those characters again during the Trevor project.
That was a game.
There were a lot of Hamilton references for some reason.
There were a lot of Hamilton references. But how are you going to die, Wiki? Sorry, I had to get that out of my brain before it fell away.
Oh no, I'll share that once we're actually off.
Oh,
I
it's
don't
that
want-
bad.
Yeah,
It's National Park bad, or
I don't want that to get out there into the world.
That's fair. All right. Well, it is getting to be that time.
yep.
About to be time to hit that old trail. So, thank you
Well.
everybody for hanging out with us. Naturally, we will not be on tomorrow night. We are doing some meeting stuff behind the scenes, working out the Shadow War. We've had a couple of meetings so far to go over plot stuff and characters and everything that's going to make it a great time for all of y'all. Next Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, we're back with something in the dark. Is that right, Wiki?
I think so. Yes.
I think so too. Deuce is there too. I should ask Deuce too. And then next Wednesday we should be on for Freedom League Dark in the Multiverse of the Master Mage. And I believe that Thursday we're also bringing the Rumble bundle back, if I remember right. I gotta double check the date Cat said, but I think that is the 20th,
That is
the
next
30th.
week.
Yeah.
100%. We're going to go finish off the Underdark.
Yeah, we gotta get out of this hole. We're rumbling with Dwergar, that's right. We
Yeah,
picked a fight
yeah.
with those people who were rude to us on the boat.
We showed up. They went, "Hi, how are you?" We went. There was no negotiation, just violence.
We rumbled.
That's how we do.
Yeah, and we're eagerly getting ready for Origins. So, in the meantime, please feel free to do all the fun YouTube stuff. Like, subscribe, comment. Everything helps us grow. Everything helps bring engagement from the internet to finding us and our message about games. And if you're feeling like it, the best place to support us is over at patreon.com/untold-stories-project. That is the easiest way to help us keep the lights on and help us keep growing. Or if you head over to greenronin.com, you can use the code USPGR to get 5% off of your M&M products, your Age products, anything related to that. Or you can go to USP Norse at Norse Foundry and get 10% off your dice. So we like to find ways for you guys to get benefits too. And I think for the next 6 hours, there is a sale on our TeePublic store for up to 35% off. So right now our t-shirts are $16, according to me going and looking and them not sending me an email to let me know. Great.
They did that last time too.
Yeah, I know. I should probably just, I don't know, Google a word. I don't know. I'll think of something. Yeah. In the meantime, I want to give everybody a chance to say goodbye, plug anything they want to plug, and then we'll pop on out of here. I'll start with Andy.
I don't have anything to plug. Just come back to see us next week when our shows are back live again. And if you're coming to Origins, stop by and say hi. Deuce.
Man, I always take a deep breath like I'm just going to spout like a carnival worker. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, however you do. Appreciate those watching live. Those watching after the fact, leave a comment. Tell us what we did well, what we could do better, and what you would do instead. This wasn't even a game. I'm still giving you that same spiel. But love having you, Cortez. Glad to have you on YouTube. Feel free to chime in anytime. And most importantly, as you get ready for this con season, try something different. Try something out of your comfort zone. Just don't pick the Speedster, because you don't want to be that dude at the table, ever. Don't do it.
Do you know how I know Kat is your wife-in-law?
How's that?
She had to play the Flash once in a Justice League game, and she had the worst time.
Yeah.
She was like, I don't know. I can't think of anything fun to do. I just want to fly over there and punch them. Can I please just fly and punch? Like, that's my move.
It's not a fun overpowered. You're just powerful for the sake of being powerful. But anyway. Oh, or if you show up at a table with your friend, let your friend pick your character for you. It's a fun trip because they will pick something you don't normally pick.
Deuce does that all the time.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a fun idea.
It's great.
That's one piece of advice we didn't talk about, Calvin. Ask what the character selection protocol is for the GM. If they want to wait till everybody shows up, if they're rolling for things, if people don't know, if there's an order that they want people to pick their character in. It's not usually a dramatic thing, and a lot of people are like, I don't care, I'll pick last.
Mm.
But then everybody says I'll pick last, and then it's a whole thing.
Yeah. So we don't go deep into a conversation, have to slap the thighs again. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And Wiki.
I will Midwest this goodbye until tomorrow.
I saw it, and I went,
Because
that's not
you're
funny.
procrastinating.
Look, I already did the bathroom cleaning part of prep, okay? I'm in the
That-
talking about stuff on the internet part of prep.
I'm
And then-
Wiki. I've got nothing.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Hey, Calvin.
Um,
Calvin yet?
no, I'll Calvin right now.
We're Calvin all over this place.
If people are interested and if you're on YouTube, please check out the With Dice channel. We've got podcasting, we've got gaming streams. Mass Effect is going to finish soon, and the schedule is going to move around a bit, but we're going to be starting Titanfall 2 and continuing Alan Wake. That's going to be moving to a different day, so I can play it every week.
Hell yeah. I can't tune in until you're done with that, or unless I find a random 20 hours
but
to play Alan Wake 2 in the next 4 weeks.
Gotta tune in. There's so much mystery.
I need to experience it fresh.
It's very good.
Yeah. But Calvin is a great person to watch play video games. He is very entertaining. Especially when the Batmobile winds up places it's not supposed to be. All right.
Yeah, if you want to see some of that and me randomly burst into song.
Also, that guy who just like exploded in Skyrim and like flew up in the air and scared the hell out of you. That's my favorite clip on YouTube.
It's also amusing when there's a loading screen in space and you just hear bum, 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 bum. Woo-wee.
Yeah, the Mass Effect loading screen looks like the Doctor Who theme, and I've been seeing it every single time.
Goodness. I'm here for it.
Don't ever change.
All right, everybody. Thank you again for hanging out with us. And until we see you next time, make some time.